intro audio is working.
So now,
Oh, yep, you switched us over,
yes, with the fancy
and I
transition
can.
still.
No fancy. It just kind of wiped.
Oh damn! Well,
so,
the horrors of updating. We're back. We should
so, hello everyone.
right
Welcome to another episode of critically late
no,
on
20
point.
minutes early.
20 minutes early on point. So today, let's have a chat, right? We got to have a chat about what's happened in the last 10 minutes.
Half
So
hour.
multiple funny things. So first off, Ellie's computer decided, hey, today is the day you have to update to Windows 11. And it broke everything. So
For me,
so,
I had to read. I had to get my taskbar back. I had to get my file explorer back. I had to then test to see, or at least I can play a game, etc. And then it was time to test OBS. I test in advance, like 20 minutes in advance, see if OBS works. And you might have guessed if it did or didn't work.
And so that happened. And now the other thing that's happened is, so you guys might have noticed we were going to cover a video game video today, right? We were going to cover, we're going to talk about how fun video games are, really. What happened, all right? But then we go to set up this new video, which is from some guy.
Well, yeah. So I say, well, we have this. We were kind of looking for a video. We found a good enough video, so we were going to cover this video game video. But then, Nretsew was sleepy, fast asleep.
Well, I was asleep,
dreaming the good stuff. I saw a marvelous video.
Yeah,
a great video.
Yeah,
that you
on my favorite anime. Talking about my favorite anime of 2024, Gushing Over Magical Girls. And while Ali's getting himself sorted, right? He's trying to get OBS sorted.
Semi-panicking, getting everything done, testing
We get the watch together going. I'm like, wait a minute. This video is members-only content. It's not working in watch together, Ali. What's going on? What do you mean? And Ali's like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, so look, bring it up. Yeah, so apparently, according to Ali, right? Yeah, when you watch this video, it was not members only, right? So you obviously got to watch the video. So sometime in between you watching the video and us going live, this man made this video members only content. And I have a sneaking suspicion I know why. Because I have an extension on my my YouTube, my browser, right, that lets me see the dislike button. And I don't know if you want to bring that image up on screen now, because I sent it to you. But I have a sneaky suspicion that what do the Zoomers call it these days? Getting cooked. This man got cooked.
I guess getting ratioed is out of vogue.
He got ratioed. Yeah, that's I think what the kids call it these days. They call it.
No, that's old, man. You're such a boomer. Ratio is old.
Yeah, they're getting cooked these days. Cooked is what they're getting. What happens now, right? You get cooked. So, while you try and see if you can get that screenshot.
Okay, let me see. Media source properties.
Yeah, just add image or whatever. So basically, yeah, we were going to do the gaming video, and then Ali was like, "No, we're going to do this video that I found, right?" And then it's like, "No, you're not going to do this video because we physically can't." So that's great, isn't it? So I guess we're probably just going to go and, I don't know, do the gaming video then. I guess we'll just do what we initially planned and do the gaming video. We have another thing planned for the stream after we do the video, anime related. So you're not gonna. We're gonna do some anime related content today, but I just think it's funny how this man apparently got so fucking cooked. And I wish I could see the comment section, but I can't, right? Like, I wish I could see the comments on this video. Because I think it would be absolutely hilarious to see just how cooked this man got. There's no mention of it on Twitter. The man's streaming right now to like 1 viewer apparently, which is I guess
which is me.
I guess we're doing, which is you. Yeah, I guess. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. We'll keep an eye on this video. If it goes live again, then we'll. Yeah, if it goes live again, then we'll bring it. We'll maybe loop back to it, because look, I'm always happy to dunk on people that are anti-fan service, right? I'm always happy to dunk on people. Yeah, there it is. Look at that ratio. Look at that. Look at that. Man's getting cooked. Man's getting cooked, boys. I don't think I've seen a ratio that bad since Ellie's fucking bad writing advice video.
Hey, views are views, comments are comments, engagement is engagement.
Hey man, engagement's engagement. You know, YouTube doesn't give a shit. But I think it's indicative of it's a possible reason, right? It's a possible reason why this man has. It's weird because you'd think that he'd just private the video, right? Like you'd think that he'd just private it, but he decided to make it members only, which is a weird way to go about it, right? It's very, very weird. So yeah, so it's been a fun morning. It's been a fun morning for the critical critique.
Fun night for me.
Fun night for Ali. Fun morning for me. What did the bro say? Yeah, I want to know what he said. This just makes me even more interested. I want to know what the fuck he said, but I'm not going to pay him money to watch his shitty video. So I guess we're just going to have to let it go. We have to let the fish go sometimes, Ali. You gotta let it go. Such a shame. So anyway, shall we talk about how video games are fun then? Do you want to load that up?
Yeah, that's Nretsew, you can also change the.
Can I?
I have the full screen thing, so maybe it's better for you if you.
I have to go find the fucking video. That's the thing.
It's not high up in the Discord.
It's the one from the guy called Itch, was it?
Yeah, Itch.
Is modern
yellow
gaming really terrible? Yep. All right, hang on. I'll get that. Put in the thing. Give me a sec.
Modern gaming.
There we go. Awesome. Right. So I'll let you get yourself switched over. Yeah, we don't have fancy transitions right now because they're broken apparently.
Yes, they are. So fading it is.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. We're gonna be quick fading for now. So I haven't watched this video. Ellie recommended it because we were trying to find stuff to watch, and there wasn't really anything that we felt was weird. We were Ellie wanted to do a video from the guy we did last week, but I kind of was like, don't really want to do the same channel twice in a row. It's good to diversify, diversify the content, right?
Oh no!
Yeah, sorry, Magician of D. I just talked about what happened. The TLDR is the Fairy privated his video because, the Fairy made his video members only because I believe, in my humble opinion, he got cooked by his own audience, so he made it members only, right? And that's why I have decided, that's why we're going to be doing video games instead, because the Fury is apparently a coward, I guess. I don't, unless there's some other reason why he would do that. Maybe he got copyrighted or something. I don't know. Like, who knows? I mean, we'll just pretend that this fella's a Fury. How about that? We'll just pretend. So anyway, I guess before we get into the video, let's start with like the thesis statement, right? Like,
yes.
Is modern gaming really as terrible as people say? So I'm probably not the right person to answer that question because I just don't fucking play modern games.
Yeah, but modern games is everything from older than Nintendo 64 to 8th gen.
I saw a funny tweet the other day about people getting nostalgic for the Wii. Have you seen anything about that? Like, apparently the Wii is kind of the Wii is apparently a retro console now.
Oh no! I guess 7th gen is now getting the big stick of all the hate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the age of brown, dark, gray brown shooters, muddy military men, and
I remember people memeing about that at the time.
that's how bad
People
it
were
was.
memeing.
People noticed
Yeah.
at the time. So no, yeah, but also the difficult switch from to HD. HD was a big switch up. Many series now actually went 3D for realsies.
Yeah.
So it was a hard time for a lot of companies, and of course Japan was kind of behind on that curve. So they weren't there. The half of the gaming industry wasn't there to support it all.
In some ways, yeah. In some ways, some other ways.
That's the 7th gen that is.
Yeah.
Now looked at not as a great time.
So modern gaming though, right? I'm gonna make the assumption that modern gaming is going to be defined by like the current-ish, like maybe PlayStation 4, like Xbox One through to the Series X is probably what I'm
maybe because I've watched
assume.
the video a little bit, but
maybe because you have Future Sight.
Future Sight, namely watching the video beforehand. No, I think that the modernness of to what we consider modern today is gacha, loot boxes, monetization, live service.
I don't know. Well, live service, yeah. I don't think I'd say gacha though, because that's primarily a phone thing. Like, loot boxes is probably I guess it depends on how pedantic you want to get your definitions. But I would say that gacha specifically, if we're going to talk about like it as a genre, right? I would say that there's a distinction to be made there between like
let me rephrase
between let's say Overwatch, right, which has like loot boxes and cosmetics and stuff, versus like Arknights, which has like unit pulling, right? I would make a distinction between those two types because of the way that the game is designed, right? In my opinion, that maybe I'm just getting a bit pedantic about it, but that's just me.
No, let me rephrase it a little bit by saying battle pass, loot box, gacha, monetization. That's
right.
That's the modern gaming, the modern game.
All right. Well, before we get started, I've got to condition the chat. So let's there you go. Get the chat conditioned. All right. Let's get cracking then. Let's see what this man's got to say.
Modern gaming is trash? Games aren't fun anymore? Gollum literally killed the entire industry? If you have watched any kind of video game related content on YouTube in the past year, you have likely seen one of these types of videos recommended to you. Obviously, the games industry has issues. There's no doubt about that. If there weren't any legitimate things to complain about, I don't believe these videos would exist, or at least there would be far fewer of them. However, corporate greed isn't a new thing, and as long as that exists, there are going to be problems. Do you want to know why companies keep making shitty live service games despite the fact they fall flat on their face more often than not?
Hey,
well,
bro,
consider the fact that...
What's that called again?
I can't remember. It was like a Warner Brothers thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the interesting thing is there was being sold. It was a version 1.5, a beta. They said it was sold in stores. And then they said, after a couple of months, it's gone now. It's going back into development. We said it
back
was
into the vault. Back into the vault.
It was a beta after all. You can't complain.
Yeah.
Even though they sold it in stores.
Multiverses, I believe.
Yeah. Multiverses. Yeah. Like so Multiverses was sold in stores with minor asterisk of it is a beta, but what it means when they say it's a beta. Until they actually pulled the game and said it will be back soon, and that they pulled it like more than a half year ago, and it's still not a word from that it actually comes back.
I haven't heard anything about it either. So going into like the sentiment about YouTubers though, I do agree with him that I think there is this overall kind of sentiment that games have kind of declined, right? This overall kind of vibe, right? This is probably not the best time to go on this tangent, but I was actually watching an interesting video. So, Starfield, right?
Yeah.
Big Starfield, right? You know about the Starfield, but Todd's Spaceman game, right? So there was a guy who did like an 8-hour analysis of Starfield, right? And I watched that video, right? And this is going to be a cautionary tale, right? It's going to be a cautionary tale about not just believing shit because YouTubers say it, right? So this fella makes this 8-hour video, and his entire premise of that video is essentially Starfield is bad because it doesn't have a design document, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he uses like a few sources to try and back up his claim, right? He has like some podcast interviews. He has like a speech that this singular developer did, like back at talking about design documents and how Bethesda moved away from design documents and stuff, right? And if you're like me and you're a guy that, you haven't looked into this that closely, you don't know too much about it, you're going to look at this at face value and you're going to go, oh, well, I mean, the sources seem good, right? But then I get a thing in my inbox, right? Another fella I subscribe to, I can't remember his name now, but he's a guy that also does kind of like long form type content. He put out like a 2-hour video, which was all about how this one speech from that one developer has been completely taken out of context, twisted and manipulated by different interpretations and turned into this like big thing where this man is the big bad man. He's why all the fallouts and all of the things are bad, Ellie, right? He's the big bad man, right?
Yeah.
And he specifically talks about that 8-hour video from the other guy. And he goes through the sources, and it turns out that guy was almost to the point of it being like the guy, the 2-hour video guy was actually hinting at that you could probably make a defamation case based on how much he misinterpreted and lied about what the developer actually said. Because it turns out they do in fact have design documents, but they're not like, oh, you have like a big document with all of the stuff in it. It's I believe the guy talks about developer wikis, where instead of, because games have gotten so big now, you can't just have like a Word document, right? Where you just have like a design document. You have to have, because you have like 100-something people working on the game. So instead of having like a big document, they have like a living, breathing kind of wiki where, people change things, add things, but you can always go back and reference the wiki, right? To see what's going on, right? So this is like a cautionary tale, right? Because I watched that 8-hour video and I thought, this argument makes pretty good sense, like the Starfield is bad because there's no like design philosophy behind it. It's just kind of them winging it, right? And there's no design document and there's no stuff, because the guy makes a good argument that sounds authoritative and sounds good, but then when you dig into it deeper, it turns out to be absolute bullshit, right? And I would highly recommend watching that 2-hour video from that guy. I might have to go find it, and I might link it in the chat, because it was actually really fascinating. Because it shows how like a speech from like 2007 gets misinterpreted by someone on Reddit, which then gets misinterpreted by YouTubers, which then gets misinterpreted by the wider internet, which then leads to this one developer becoming like the literal Satan, right?
Although I wouldn't say that it's going to be actually... what do you say, libel, because people...
Oh no, probably not. No, but the guy was just saying like you could like make a case whether or not it would actually.
Well, I'm going to be pedantic and focus on that one bit and say no, that's not that's not how you build a case for.
All right. Well, I found the video, so I'll pop a link in the chat for people to have a look at that, because it's quite long. It's quite a long video, but I would recommend it because it is quite interesting. And it gives you a different perspective, because a lot of the time you only get the one perspective, right? So it's interesting to get like two sides of the story. But to loop this back into the video that we're actually watching, right? That's why I think it's interesting to talk about like the YouTuber aspect of this, right? Because there's definitely YouTubers out there that are pushing this narrative, but the question is whether or not that narrative is actually true, right? Which is why I use this example of the Starfield design document thing, right? Because the TLDR is just because a YouTuber says something doesn't make it factual, right?
You don't say.
You got to check your sources, cite your shit, make your arguments actual arguments, right? You know. So anyway.
Also, did you like my enlargement of the profile picture?
Yeah, it looks very nice. Your artistic genius is not understood by the wider masses.
Indeed.
So anyhow, let's continue.
Live service games don't need to launch as a complete package. Production costs for video games have ballooned for the past 20 years or so. Imagine yourself as the CEO of some massive gaming company. You want to prove to your shareholders that you are capable of expanding the company's reach and strengthening its name with some new IPs. You could make a brand new full-price game that's not part of an already existing series, but that's basically the corporate equivalent of having casual unprotected sex.
I just move shit with my freaking mind!
Sure, if things go really well, you could make a new great friend. However, there are far more opportunities for things to go completely south, so it may not exactly be a risk worth taking.
Human, right?
Bigger investments need...
Oh no,
I think so.
Yeah, but that's...
I don't...
That has a story on its own, but yeah, new games, difficult, hard.
It is always difficult, and you never know what's going to be like the next, big thing, what's going to be the next Undertale, what's going to be the next, what would be another good example of something that's a new IP that came out recently.
Octopath is relatively new.
Maybe, yeah. Like, I think that there is, like, when we're talking about specifically the AAA, right? Because you have to kind of have that caveat when you're talking about this, because he's not wrong, right? From, like, a corporate perspective, if you're actually looking at it from their perspective, it is more risky to invest in something that's unproven, right? That's just like fact. That's just anything. It's not just gaming, right? Like if you're investing in something that's unproven, you're going to be the guy that's going to have to prove it, right? So far this is just kind of like common sense points. I don't really have. Oh yeah, Lethal Company. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say against it except I feel like he should specify that he's specifically talking about AAA, which he kind of did, I guess, because he's talking about corporate.
Well,
because as Jake says in the chat, right? Like, Lethal Company is relatively new, and look at how that's taken off, right? There's definitely examples of new IPs or new ideas in gaming that are relatively niche or indie that have taken off, right?
I suppose that if you wanted to have new ideas. It was when Link didn't wear his green tunic in the first reveal trailer of Breath of the Wild, when he was fighting a weird robot thing on a horse with a weird arrow, if you remember those days.
Yeah,
that was heresy almost. Link, not in a green tunic, heresy, but then now...
heretics. Yeah.
Now we want to play dress up with Link every day of the week. So...
Style points, yeah.
Slotty, no backless
dresses.
So
that's the thing. Even within, like, an established IP, you can still do...
Oh yeah, and of course, if you want some bigger IP, yes, then I guess... I know Nintendo the best, kinda, so... Xenoblade, new IP, started on the Wii, got a lot bigger on the Switch, got a lot bigger on the Switch. Then I mentioned Octopath Traveler, fresh new look for an RPG, now it's being copied all over the place. My dress up hi-hat. I guess Bravely Default is also a series.
Yeah, people tend to forget that Xenoblade was like really fucking niche back in the day. I remember when it first came out on the Wii, right? Like because I kind of wanted to get into it, but I don't even think you could buy it in New Zealand because it was not even. Because I think wasn't it only licensed for Europe?
So the story of Xenoblade, right, is that there was Japan that made Xenoblade, and you had Europe, and you have America.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons all the voice acting's in British.
Yeah, so Japan made Xenoblade, and Reggie said, "No, America hates RPGs." But the UK, EU said,
they love that shit. They love that shit.
Sure, why not? So everything was dubbed into British.
Yeah,
and then
I believe it didn't release in a number of regions until quite long after.
Then you had Project Rainfall.
Yes,
and
yes,
it was
now
kind
I'm
of
remembering.
almost the only actually public campaign against, against Nintendo that actually did something.
Yeah, I'm remembering that because it's been so fucking long. It's been so long since.
Because Project Rainfall was a campaign to get free games on, released in the US.
Yeah, it was Xenoblade. It was, what was the other one? It was something Tower.
Yeah, the Tower
It was Tower, and then it was another one, and I can't remember what the other one was, but I remember it was Xenoblade. Was it Pandora something?
Yeah,
it was
something Pandora, something Tower of. But the thing is, of course, Xenoblade was the biggest one, and it was kind of a... I believe that in America, in the US, it was only sold like GameStop got this game and Pandora was given to Walmart or something, and every game
and
got
it became kind of like a cult. It got kind of a cult following a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess to kind of move along, right? Pandora Tower or something. Last Story, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I knew it was like there was one that was like something Tower or Pandora something.
Oh,
right?
It was the same game.
It was the same game, yeah. And then Last Story, yeah. Now I remember, yeah, it was Last Story, yeah. Shit, because it's been so fucking long ago. Like, in terms of, like, internet years, it was, like, 10,000 years ago that this shit was happening.
Like, so, yeah, but go back. Xenoblade, people had to beg Nintendo for it to come out in the US. And then it did.
Yeah.
It became reasonably popular. Then Shulk got added to Smash. Xenoblade 2 was very, very big. And now Xenoblade 3 is the biggest RPG ever made.
I mean, you are skipping a lot of stuff that happened there, because there was because Xenoblade came out, and then it got this cult following, and that kind of proved that it could sell, and then they greenlit stuff like Xeno X and Xeno 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to move along. And kind of get back to we got to get back on track. We got to
new IP. It actually happens.
New IPs do happen, and they do sometimes, but they have to. The key is they do have to fight, right? Because you gotta prove like there is a market for it. I'm thinking back to stuff like Neptunia, right? Like Neptunia is another case where it's like this is a cult classic type. Like it was this very niche PS3 game, right? Very, very niche, and then all of a sudden it started to get this cult following over time, and eventually it started to snowball into being a big deal, right? So plenty of cases you could cite. So I don't necessarily think it doesn't happen. I would agree with the guy that I think it is rare. I think it is a rare occurrence for something to be able to break out like that. So anyway, let's continue.
A bigger guarantee of profits, and unless your studio is already a household name, a new AAA IP is a huge risk. With live service games, there's a bit more protection. These games need to be a complete package upon release, as it is understood new content will be continuously added. So
I will say I agree with that point. However, I would say that if we're going to talk about like Genshin Impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mihoyo was already pretty well known because Honkai, right? Honkai
Yeah,
feud,
but not
so...
to me, for example.
Well, yeah, not to you. Well, yeah, but I'm making the point that it's not like they were some small indie game company. Please understand, they were, and I'd known about Honkai for a while because I'd seen the 3D CGs because they're really good, and they've spent a lot of time on that department, and I think that Genshin blowing up was kind of circumstantial because I feel like it had a lot to do with the pandemic and the fact that there was a lot of people just stuck inside. And then, this Breath of the Wild type game, right? Because it's coming off the heels of Breath of the Wild, right? This Breath of the Wild game that's from China comes out. Like, it's almost like what's happening with Palworld right now. You know about Palworld, right?
Yeah.
The Pokemon game everyone's playing right now. Like, it's been like, what was the last Pokemon game to come out? It was like Shining. Was it Shining Diamond? I can't remember.
No.
I think there's DLC. I think there's DLC for Violet and Scarlet or whatever coming out. Yeah,
Scarlet and Purple.
Yeah. I think those were the last ones, and there's DLC coming out for them. But it's been a while. It's been a while since Pokemon, right?
No, actually, the last DLC was like a week ago, and a new Pokemon is coming next week. I follow the artists, and they are always very interested in Pokemon.
Well, interestingly, then that actually kind of leaves more credence to my argument because Palworld's kind of coming out in a really good time for that then because they're like, oh look, here's this Pokemon style game, but it's Arc, right? Like it's 3D and you can capture the Pokemon and you can make them work in the sweatshop to create AKs.
Oh, Arceus.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. Have you watched any streams of it?
No, I was joking that I didn't know and just mentioned Arceus. No, I've seen a little bit of it, and I saw some, some quotes, some, lines on the box, and I think I agree from what I've seen thus far, brief looks, in that it's both kind of a funny criticism, a funny look at Pokemon and a kind of slavery, but also but also kind of a bigger society thing in that you always you are managing creatures for your own production. If your factory in my factory games, base building games, had feelings and had to rest, then I would optimize them, and if they worked too slow, I would butcher them for meat. That's kind of
so I haven't
big
played
society.
It,
big society.
I'm gonna have to watch maybe one of Pippa's streams or Kirsch's streams when they're like a bit further because I've seen like the early game obviously, and the early game seems very much. I mean, I think you're probably familiar with Ark, right? Ark Survival Evolved.
A little bit.
Dinosaurs, right? It looks a lot like Ark. But there's definitely, I think there is that kind of element you're talking about. I don't know if it's a deliberate criticism, obviously. It's probably not. Feels more like a... Although, then again, I saw a short where a guy was talking about how you can capture trainers. You can capture actual NPC trainers and turn them into slaves.
You see, that stuff that which I mean by,
hang on, because the thing is, in the description of like the ball or something, there's apparently like something in the game that says like, yeah, you can do this. It's immoral, but you can do and I'm like, okay.
But you see, Nretsew, this is the slight the subcurrent of the criticism. I mean, that if it's inhumane to capture a human in that way, why is it inhumane to capture a Pokemon with 5,000 IQ like Alakazam is?
Maybe. So,
have you ever thought about that?
So it is interesting. I would like to see how that game progresses. I feel because it's definitely early. I think it's early access, right?
Have you ever considered, Nretsew, that Pokemon might be animal cruelty?
Well, it's funny you should say. It's funny you should say that because speaking of long form content, I've been watching a guy I subscribe to put out like an 8-hour retrospective of Shining Diamond. And I've been slowly watching that, right? And he actually kind of talks about that because did you know that in Sinnoh, right? The Sinnoh region, right? If you go in the library, they have a lot of books about like the history, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is touched upon a little bit in RTS, but I'm not sure because I haven't played it and I haven't watched a lot of it. But it talks a lot about how in the past of Pokemon and humans, the distinction between the two was not as great. Like, it wasn't as much of a distinction of, like, pet and owner or whatever. It was more people were seen as equals. In the localization, they actually make a really interesting change because in the original Japanese, it actually mentions marrying Pokemon.
I mean, that was in the. I believe that was in Blue and Red. You know, in the first versions.
Yeah, well, in the Sinnoh, so in the library, in the book, it mentions that they change it in the localization to be that Pokemon and humans would eat at the same table, whereas in the Japanese, it mentions like, no, people were marrying Pokemon or something like that.
I mean,
and
I would.
But the general point is the same, though, right? The general point is the same. It was that Pokemon and human were not seen as all that different from one another, and then something like it's almost like how we evolved from, you know, if we talked about the theories of evolution, right? We evolved from primates or Neanderthals, right? So we were more bestial and not that much different from the animals that we look down on today, right? So there is an interesting, like, and I think that any game that's like Palmon or like Pokemon or whatever is gonna have that like interesting kind of element to it that I don't think people probably think about unless they're like us, right? Like, if you think about it kind of hard, it's like, yeah, it is kind of weird that you have these like intelligent creatures that you're putting into these balls and having fight one another and stuff, right? You could marry Lopunny. Yeah, they talk about Lopunny in the video. The video is quite good. It probably shouldn't be hard to find. Just look for like an 8-hour video on Shining Diamond or whatever. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be a tangenty cast today. I feel we're going to be going
because this video is kind of a tangent as is.
Yeah, we're kind of going all over the place.
What I think I want to say is that I believe that in the first version, you know, the good old Game Boy game, it just outright stated that they married Pokemon back in the day, but that was later, you know, cleaned up in later versions, and I suppose that they just continue that tradition of cleaning that up for American, European audiences.
I guess, yeah.
I would say that there is a kind of a tradition in Japanese folklore of, you know, marrying the Yuki-onna, the crane, birds.
Right. So that's probably what it's referencing, maybe. But I think it is still trying to make that point of like, no, we are equals, right? I think that's more the vibe, right? At least that's what I would intuit, and that's what the guy in the video intuited, right? So, anyway, let's continue talking about apparently video games are terrible.
Yes.
So
if the game turns out to be a flop, it's less likely to turn into a disastrous situation for the company, as the project was simply cheaper to produce. However, there is one thing that makes live service games very appealing to produce. If the game somehow turns out to be a success, you're going to be swimming in metric shit tons of cash. These titles have the potential to be massive revenue streams for pretty low costs. It's very much the classic minimize costs and maximize profits.
Oh,
trust me, there's a reason why there hasn't been a new Grand Theft Auto.
I have something to say.
Oh, you do?
He does a lot of popping of his mic. He should have had a pop filter.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that great at that either, but I have a little bit of foam on my mic, but, you know.
I don't have any foam on my mic, but I haven't caught myself popping the mic as much.
See, you can always go with the good old sock trick. A lot of people will just put a sock over their mic. That also can help.
Yeah, or not talk directly into the mic.
Yeah. I mean, I have a headset mic, so my mic's off to the side anyway. So it's not great, but it's it's better than nothing. You know, I've been thinking about upgrading my audio setup, but I have like a million things I have to spend money on, so it's probably not going to happen.
You know me. I have often. Yeah, I'm not talking into the mic. I'm sorry. I'm occasionally refreshing the furry video to see if it's back up. Because I want you to see it, Nretsew. It's for you.
No. It's probably not going to happen.
I've spent money kind of liberally the past couple of months. And
I'm sorry, I opened it up myself. It's got even more dislikes than when the last time I saw it.
Oh no.
It's got 106 now. Bro's getting cooked by his own members.
Nretsew, we need to get on that member or whatever. We need to get that subscriber count.
No, because then we wouldn't be allowed to stream it anyway, because that would like probably break YouTube's like. He would probably be able to get the channel taken down if we did that, because it would be like, oh, you're streaming members only.
No, Nretsew, it's kind of this is out of a jealousy. Why is he, with his dumb opinion, has members?
Because he's got 3.3k something subscribers.
Yeah, we need to get that subscriber count.
Well, then you're gonna have to start streaming more often, Ellie. You're gonna start streaming 3 times a week. That's.
Damn! Why don't you stream? You never stream. You only.
That's because I got other shit to do. I'm doing.
You're a leech. You just are here a leech of my success, right?
I'm leeching off your success. I mean, I do have to go through and set up the OBS and get stuff sorted for that. And I might do some streaming at some point. It's just I have to get my time schedule sorted because I've been getting back into my drawing, Ellie. I've been spending
drawing videos is always a fun thing to do. Also, relaxing. Put some music on. Sorry, this is completely unrelated to anything in the video.
We got. Well, you're the one that brought up the Fury video again. So, so anyway, you were trying to make a point before you got distracted by yourself.
What was the thing we said before? Something about...
it was something about live service games being maximizing profits, minimizing costs, something.
Yeah, I guess. I have... That's true, I guess, in that's... But,
that's the thing. There's not a lot to disagree with because he's just making factual statements.
I do know that Sony, for example, Sony has a new CEO.
Oh yeah.
The previous CEO said we're going to have 12 live service games in the next 2 years.
So, one of the problems with this, right, is it's kind of difficult to I feel it's kind of difficult to have multiple live service games happening at once.
Indeed.
Because the issue you have is they're going to start cannibalizing each other because people only have so much time. And so you're not going to be able to have people playing like 5 live service games at once, right? Like, fuck, I play like 3 gotcha games at once, and that's more than enough. That's more than enough.
No, I have 0. I don't have the genes. I'm repulsed by any live service gotcha type of.
Yeah, so you don't have
games.
This problem. But this is this is what I'm saying is like, if you as a company, right? Let's say like Sony, right? You mentioned Sony, right? Sony has like 5 of those live service games. They're going to cannibalize each other because you're going to have people like, because I get the feeling that the CEOs are expecting like, oh, all of the Sony fans are going to play all of our live service games at once. And it's like, no, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is you're going to bring out a live service game, right? Then the new one's going to come out. And everyone's going to go play the new one, and they're going to abandon the old one, and then all of a sudden you're keeping a game going that's literally just dead weight and not actually making you any money. You're going to have to pay for the servers and stuff, right? And then eventually that one gets shut down, and then the cycle continues, right? So I feel like it's not it's not as simple as make live service game, make 5
money.
Live service games, make $1 million, right? The thing is, like, Genshin Impact and Honkai and Star Rail and stuff, I think they have that same problem, and I think it's going to be kind of the same, because there's probably going to be people that are going to leave. I think what helps Honkai and Star Rail and that kind of stuff, right, and Genshin, is that they're all different games, right?
I do believe that I heard or saw somewhere that the audience between, differently. When Honkai released, Genshin lost players.
Yeah.
And it is actually not that much of a difference between Honkai's gain and Genshin's loss. So it's more eating in its own audience than bringing in more people.
And that's what I'm saying is going to be the problem, right? Because because it might not be a problem right away, but if you do that infinitely, right, and they're all cannibalizing one another, it's going to be a problem, right? Now Samu's making some good points about the Hoyoverse stuff. Yeah, like that's kind of what they are. That's their main goal is they want to make like a giant fucking Hoyoverse.
But I wanted to go back to Sony for a second, and that's
okay. I'll let you go back to Sony, but I have one last point about Genshin and stuff, so I'll let you go first.
All right, so Sony previous CEO said 12 live service games in the next 2 years. That CEO is gone. The new CEO came in, and suddenly 6 of them are already shelved.
Yeah, which I can understand, which is perfectly understandable. Because I think that anyone with like half a brain is going to notice this problem, right? Because it's not like with like a single player game or an offline game where it's like, oh, you get your sale, right? And obviously you're not getting more sales over time with microtransactions or whatever, but it's like there's no cannibalization between people that play God of War and people that play The Last of Us, right? Because someone's going to buy God of War. Someone's going to buy. They're going to buy God of War. They're going to play God of War, and then they're going to buy The Last of Us for the 5th time, and then they're going to play The Last of Us for the 5th time as they bring it out
so Samu,
every 5 minutes.
I did say that I saw that somewhere, but I feel that Honkai Star Rail also got his own audience that didn't play.
Yes, and that was what I was going to say. To finish my point about that is I think what helps those games is the fact that they're all different games. Honkai 3rd is like a beat 'em up, brawler, lots of enemies on the screen. You use the big flashy attack. You're in an arena, right? And you beat up the enemies in the arena. That's what Honkai 3rd is. Genshin is like Breath of the Wild, right? It's kind of a Breath of the Wild style type thing.
Fantasy.
There are differences. Open world. There are differences. Obviously, it's not 1-to-1, right? But there are a lot of similarities in like the gameplay style, right? That's why I'm just going to understand that I know that it's different, but I'm just using that for comparison's sake, right? And then Honkai, like Star Rail, is turn-based, right? It's a turn-based game. It's like a dungeon crawler, turn-based style type game. So they're all fundamentally different games. So people that don't like Breath of the Wild gameplay but like turn-based can go play Star Rail, or people that like the beat-em-up flashy attack, use the ultimate attack, big numbers on screen, Ellie, big damage, right? Can play Honkai, and they might not like the turn-based style of Star Rail, right? So while there is cannibalization, because they're all separate styles of game, I feel like that kind of mitigates the problem, right? But if you're talking about like, oh, we're going to have like Apex Legends, and then we're going to have like Battlefield Battle Royale, right? And then we're going to have
Call of Duty Warzone.
Call of Duty War, like we're going to have all of like the same game, right? Then you're going to start to see a lot of the cannibalization, I think. It's going to be a lot worse for the game. But when you have a game that's like fundamentally different, like almost a completely different genre, right? I think that helps that problem somewhat, but you're still going to see it, right?
Because it's the same art style, the same kind of character archetypes, even if it's
it's the same. Settings. It's the same universe basically. Yeah, it's like because again, it's like their Hoyoverse type stuff, where it's like, they have this whole like multiverse thing going over there that they're doing. So. But anyhow, let's continue.
For over 10 years, and it isn't just because of the monumental amount of time and effort that goes into developing those games. So yes, in some aspects, the games industry is worse than it was before. For the past several years, as games have been made with increasingly gargantuan budgets, companies are only willing to appeal to very broad demographics. If you want to make a huge game, it has to be as safe of a product.
I think that was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, wasn't it?
Is it?
I think it is. It looked like it was.
I don't know. I don't know.
I haven't played it. I haven't heard anything about it. So I think it was.
Yes, it is.
But anyway,
it's also sold as a live service thing.
I think it was it. I don't even remember. But anyway, let's continue.
As possible. This is no longer the PS2 era where 3D games were still fairly young and big companies were more willing to throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. In fact, some genres have become worse over time. I could make an entire video about how the racing game genre has stagnated to an embarrassing extent.
No.
Oh, he's going to mention the video in 5 seconds.
Too early. You did it too early.
Future Sight. Right, blame it on Future Sight.
But Racevic already sort of made.
Yes, I have watched Rave. Yeah. Good channel. Really good channel, actually. Right? He does fucking fantastic content. He's really good. I would highly recommend him. He's good stuff.
Made that video. I pretty much agree with everything in it. However, all this doom and gloom doesn't give the full picture. Let's just name a few games that were released this year. The Dead Space remake.
Okay, one at a time, right? Dead Space remake.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of criticism about that. There was some things that people have talked about. Apparently it's like okay. It's not bad, but it's not as good as the original. There's a lot of stuff where like funnily enough, I think I watched some video about it with someone. I think it was Mandalore, actually. Mandalore put out a review of it, and he mentioned how, funnily enough, the worse graphics actually made the game scarier in the older games.
That's how it sometimes goes.
Yeah, and it was specifically due to how it, like, the fog and the atmosphere hid things from you and made it a bit more, because like the clarity actually makes it less scary, right? So Hi-Fi Rush, I've heard, is pretty good.
Oh, was Hi-Fi Rush already mentioned? It wasn't on my screen.
It's coming up. It's on my screen. I'm like, the video for me is like a little bit ahead of you for some reason. I don't know why that happens. I think it's just because of the connection we've watched together.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is like, I haven't played it, but I've heard like mixed things. There's some people that really like it, some people really hate it. So it's like, apparently it's good.
From what I know, it's you have to be into it slightly, and if you're into it slightly, it's a good experience overall.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's continue and see what else he's got.
Hi-Fi Resident Evil 4 remake, Baldur's Gate.
All right, Resident Evil 4 remake. I've heard mixed things about that too. I can't. I'm not going to talk about that. But like, there's something about that game. I might have to talk to Ellie about it in private because it's like, God. Now that I'm hinting at it, people are going to want to know what it is. But like, I have problems.
300 subscriber review.
Yeah, 300 subscriber review, and Nretsew's big problem with the Resident Evil 4 remake. But no, but no, I've heard mixed things about that too. But I think that's going to happen anytime it's a remake. I would argue that he shouldn't use remakes in this because a remake is a remake, right? Like it's using an existing game as like a base, it's like the support and beam, right, to hold up the rest of the game, right? I wouldn't argue that modern gaming is great, and then be like, look at all these games that came out, and then be like, half of them are remakes, right? You know what I mean? I don't think he's done that. I can't because what has he talked about?
You have remake and remasters like The Last of Us, and then you have something like, from what I understand, Resident Evil 4 to be, which is a kind of a redo almost.
Yeah.
And I, in even more degrees of from remaster to remakes. Not Resident Evil. Dead Space is more of a faithful remake and suffers a little bit from it. Resident Evil is a kind of a redo and is better for it.
Yeah, I've heard some things about it though, where like, I mean, I don't know if you've seen all the memes about the yellow ladder, the yellow.
Oh, the yellow paint.
the yellow paint, well, the boxes and the paint and all the like. Oh, we have to guide the player because players are retarded or whatever. You know,
so
like that's like one of the only things I've like heard about it that's bad. Where it's like, yeah, they probably could have done that a bit subtly, a little bit more.
Yeah. You
but that's
you,
not.
You
but
spoiled
that's
the 300 subscriber review, Nretsew. How dare you?
but that's getting a bit away from my point though, because my point is actually more about like if he's trying to make the point. Oh, look at how good games are, right? Like there's all this doom and gloom, right? Everyone's depressed, everyone's sad, big sad, right? But look, games are really good. I would not use remakes to make that point. Because that's just going to open you up to the criticism of, oh, but most of the good games that are coming out are just old games but with new skin. You know, like
but I was going to say that I would allow in this lineup then Resident Evil 4, and I would put a show me your papers, Dead Space.
papers please, Dead Space. Yeah.
But
anyways, so Baldur's Gate though is a good example because that's
Baldur's Gate, good game.
Good game. You can't argue.
I'm doing a second playthrough of the 300-hour RPG. So good game.
I mean that says something. So that's
3, Armored Core 6.
Yeah, Armored Core. Yep, that's a good one.
Alan Wake 2, Super Mario.
Alan Wake. Well,
it does fun stuff. From what I heard,
it does fun stuff,
kind of like Mario Wonder that does fun stuff in its Mario levels.
It kind of depends. Like I have to preface this by saying, obviously, I haven't played it. Right, I'm not. I don't play the Alan Wakes, but I've seen some interesting criticisms and clips. I think one of the funniest clips I've seen, you'll like it because it's a DSP clip, right? So you know the section where they're doing like the Guardians of Asgard band.
I haven't seen it. I only really know it from the Game Awards.
So there's like a section in the game where you're like walking through like the stage and they have the guys up on big screens and they're doing like the live action musical number stuff, right? And so Kirsha, right, the VTuber who's always streaming with Pippa. She's like the white spicy cat.
No.
She's great. I like Kirsha. So Kirsha's reaction to that was like, this is pretentious gay bullshit. I just want to play video game. Why am I having to walk through this live action nonsense? Where is the video game? I'm going to say a
thing and you might not agree with it.
Let me finish. Let me finish before that, right? Let me finish because this is I'm getting there. I'm making a point, right? She's talking about, this is pretentious. This is just them. This is like theater kid nonsense bullshit. There's no actual game here, so and so. And then it cuts to like DSP literally coming in his pants over it. He's like, this is amazing. This is so cool. This is great. I love this. This is and then it cuts back to Kirsha and she's like, This is dog shit.
Nretsew, do you know the clip of Devil May Cry 4?
4?
I believe 4.
Which one?
The latest one, at least.
Well, 5 is the latest.
Devil May Cry 5.
Right. Yeah.
Where the guy is live streaming Devil May Cry 5, and I believe Dante has a cowboy hat in his hands.
Oh yes, the Michael Jackson reference, but with the cowboy. Yeah, I know the clip you're talking about, and the guy's like, this is dumb bullshit.
She sounds kind of like him at that moment.
well, maybe she is, but I'm not talking about who's right or wrong in this situation. I'm more saying that this is how polarizing Alan Wake is, right? Like there's this. Some people think it's pretentious bullshit. Other people think it's really good, right? So, and I'm not going to say either way because I haven't fucking experienced it myself. I'm just saying that's all I know.
No, right? I know DSP is always wrong about everything, but I'd rather have somebody having fun with something, somebody having fun with it than kind of dismissing
Yeah,
it like that.
Kirsha is the white fox VTuber that Picker hangs out with that as affiliate. Yeah, Magician D knows who I'm talking about.
I don't.
So anyway, now we're going to talk about Mario, I guess, because I don't see Mario, but you see Mario.
I see Mario.
Mario Brothers Wonder, Lies of P,
Lies of P.
Lies of P is pretty good, apparently. Yeah, heard about that one.
Fallen Dynasty. This is.
And then that one's the one I don't know about. Is that like a new something dynasty something?
From what it's kind of a.
It looks like a Neo type thing.
It is,
like
but
Neo.
From what I gather and the fact that I haven't heard about it very much, it's kind of a lesser Neo, a kind of a mid.
It's Middo. It's Middo.
Middo. Neo Middo.
Neo Middo. Yeah.
But once everything is lined up on the screen, maybe we can talk about it more.
Yeah, let's see.
Somehow only a fraction of what came out this year, but
yeah, so this is like a fraction of what came out this year. Obviously, talking about 2023 because 2024 now.
So everybody says this is a great game for a great year for gaming. I kind of agree, I guess. I mean, I
wouldn't say it's been terrible. I think it always comes down to personal preference, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not interested in the Dead Space or the Rush. I am interested in Baldur's Gate, but I'm gonna probably pick it up when it, because I
don't wait on it. It's going to sell millions more.
No. Resident Evil, I don't care. Armored Core, I'm very interested in. Alan Wake, I don't really care. Mario, I don't really care. Because I don't have my Switch yet. Lies of P does look really good. I think Mandalore did a video on that one as well. I think I can't remember. Someone did a video. I watched someone's video on it, and it was pretty good. And then I don't know nothing about.
What do you think of Dead Space?
Not a lot.
All right.
Not a lot.
I agree. What do you think of Hi-Fi Rush?
It looks kind of fancy, but I don't really care.
All right. I'm going to give it's a good. Baldur's Gate is a good from both of us. Resident Evil.
Don't really care.
I mean, in the grand scheme of good for gaming.
Well, like I said, I don't like the reliance on remake.
I said I was giving it a pass, so I'm giving a pass here.
Yeah, you give it a pass. I'm not going to give it a pass, so that's just me.
This is good. I think I heard many good things about Alan Wake, so I guess I'll just put a check mark on it.
Yeah. I don't have strong feelings one way or the other on it, so. But I'm just saying I know. I just saying I know it's polarizing. That's all.
And I only heard slightly negative things about the last game, so I'm going to give it a little red cross.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, so.
You're going
to
keep neutral on it? All right.
Yeah, I'm going to be... Well, maybe not... Well, like, I can't comment on something that I don't know about, so... It's kind of
that means a neutral on the good game for year.
Pretty neutral.
Good game
so I mean, like, for you, it's kind of like, there's more good than bad. For me, it's, like, more neutral than, like this. Like, I would say, like, it's difficult, because I don't think that you could say, oh, it's been a terrible year for gaming, but at the same time, like, on a personal level, there's not been a whole lot that's come out that's like, man, I have to like buy this right now, right? Like I have to drop, and I think a big part of that is because of how I view money and whatnot, right? Like if I'm going to be buying a game that's like $100 or whatever, better be I'm gonna have to plan for that, right? So I'm kind of like, damn, better be good game, for that price.
I don't know. For games, I don't really look in games at a yearly basis, right? It's more of a console, almost a console basis, a generational basis. When I upgrade my PC basis.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So I almost the last good game of good year gaming was I believe I don't know when the Switch released, right? But that was for me at least. Breath of the Wild and Nier Automata, and I believe Xenoblade also came out that year. Xenoblade 2.
Yeah.
So there's three games, big games, long games that I was very, very interested in, released in that year. That was for me a good year. This year is missing one game, kind of. I have my Zelda, I have my big PC game, and I'm missing my hardcore JRPG, kind of.
Right. So yeah, no, I would, despite the doom and gloom, I would say, yeah, no, there's some good stuff to come out.
It
anyway,
is still a good year. It's good games have come out.
Yeah, let's see what else we got.
They're all no releases. I can't even say I'm necessarily a huge fan of every single game I just listed, but they all have at least a pretty positive reception. Anyway, one important thing that all these games have in common is a sense of direction. With the exception of maybe Baldur's Gate 3, none of the games I listed are particularly huge. They're not trying to compete with Rockstar on how much they can spend on the intricacies of horseballs. Instead, these games focus on doing a few things as well as they can. One of the reasons I appreciate Armored Core 6 as much as I do is thanks to how unapologetically arcadey it feels. It's not a game trying to promise the world, but some over-the-top mecha chaos and customization with some intriguing narrative themes.
Because I have a slight criticism in that he does ignore bigger games, big good games in this case, Tears of the Kingdom, right? Because it doesn't really fit his argument.
Maybe, yeah. I feel like.
And it's DLC, I guess, but Future Redeemed for DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 wraps up all the entire Xenoblade saga. Big DLCs sometimes get a mention as best game of the year kind of deal. So maybe you can mention that.
Yeah, I think there's probably some room. I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm only mentioning Nintendo games because I have a Switch and don't.
Yeah, because you have a Switch and you actually you play into games.
The Switch, and PC games are kind of difficult because sometimes I've recently played Shadow of Mordor again.
Oh yeah,
and that came out ages ago, and now I'm playing it again.
Well, funnily enough, I've been playing Battlefield 4, honestly. So when I get some time, I'll try and get into a server for that and not get kicked because of high ping. Not get kicked for high ping. Like, I think that because something that I think a lot of people miss is it's not like, depending on the game, you can always go back. You can always play something that's a bit older.
Oh yeah, and 2014, so it's 10 years old, Shadow of Mordor. Because I was slightly interested in the sequel, and it's kind of a almost endless sandbox game where you can max out everything and do your Ubisoft Towers kind of deal.
Do the things, yeah.
It's a after work game where you do a couple of towers, kill a captain, and then you're done.
All right. Let's continue.
Perhaps publishers are starting to realize more and more that they should be investing in smaller scale projects. Not every game needs to be an open world mechanical shitfest that replaces actual game design with suggestions from focus tests. It's almost like genres exist for a reason. The more you try to appeal to everyone, the more likely you appeal to no one. I can say with confidence that 2023 is up there as one of the better years I have experienced for games.
That was my profile, sorry. I was going to pause there more because because to do a you criticism, there was a bit of a jarring transition in his voice there. If you picked up on that, like you could, like the cut there was it wasn't as bad as like cutting out the silences, but it was. Let me just go back and listen to that.
To everyone, the more likely you appeal to no one. I can say with confidence.
It's like his voice is breaking.
Oh no, that's recording on a different day. after taking a break.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be too
No,
hard
I'm
on
not going to.
I'm not gonna be too hard on.
I
just wanted to point it out. I just wanted to point it out because I noticed it. And I was
we're not
like,
going to criticize recording on a different day.
No, but
cutting out every bit of silence between your sentences.
I mean, I do like kind of agree with the point, I guess, in that I feel like there should be a shift in focus into smaller style projects.
Right? That's what I kind of it kind of follows up nicely what I said about Sony's new CEO that cancelled the 6 of the 12 live service games, right?
Yeah.
The endless, huge live service games, they now finally realized that's not sustainable, and we're gonna have to move into smaller projects. Yeah, because it's like I said, I think, and that's another thing we did mention when we were talking about the live service games is, if you're gonna have to keeping the game going forever, that means you can't put out a new game, right? Well, you can, but cannibalization, right? You get what I mean, right? It's like you either have to keep the same game going constantly, right? Like Fortnite kind of does, right? Or they add new things to Fortnite, right? Or new games to Fortnite, because that's kind of where Fortnite seems to be going in that direction, right? Or you have to like end one, start another, which I guess is sort of what Call of Duty does with Warzone, where they do like the seasonal type stuff, or when the new game comes out, they'll change the map or something and adjust certain things about it, or whatever. So, there's some interesting kind of stuff that goes on, I guess, in the background with those types of decisions. But I do think that there is probably going to be the shift that he's talking about. I think that eventually, I remember when we were covering Snowman Guy, I brought up like the eventual heat death, right, of gaming, or the concept that I believe in of that, where the budgets can only get so big, the games can only get so big. Eventually, things are going to collapse in on itself, or they're going to have to scale back, right? It's just you can't expand endlessly, right? You're going to have to put a limit somewhere. Yeah,
you're
and hit a wall. It's often mentioned and sounds believable enough that big money investors saw big growth during pandemic, and now pandemic is gone. Investors say, "But where growth?
But why no growth? Yeah,
why no growth?
There's a lot of companies having that happen right now. Nvidia.
Well, they have AI, and said, no worry, AI, big growth, guys. AI growth. Here, money,
right,
growth.
Side tangent before we continue. I watched Samsung Galaxy Unpacked because I wanted to see what the new phone was about, because I'm considering upgrading my phone and selling my old phone to my mum. But like, fuck, man, that presentation was so boring because it was 90%. Look at all these AI features, because we have the new Snapdragon chip, and the new Snapdragon chip lets us do all these fancy AI things that you're never going to fucking care about after a year. Oh look, Ali, you can circle something and Google will be able to use AI to search for it, and you can find it using the AI. Oh, you can translate things in real time via the phone, and it'll be voice translation in real time with the AI. It's big game changer, Ali. Big AI, big thing. And this whole presentation, they talk about AI for like fucking 90% of it, and they only talk about the actual phone for like fucking 10% of the presentation.
Yeah.
I didn't even know, because I found out when I looked at like the pre-order bundles on the big store that I usually buy them from, because you can get good deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I only found out that these new phones, like the higher end ones, have like a terabyte of storage in them. Like you can get imagine, like, fuck, like my current one's got like 250 gig, right, of storage on the phone, and that's already a fuckload of storage for a phone. Right?
My gaming laptop of 5 years ago doesn't have a terabyte.
Yeah, like imagine having like literally an external hard drive. Like I have a terabyte external hard drive, right? Imagine like the idea of having what was considered like big enough for an external hard drive size of storage in your fucking phone. And yet that's not even like that's not even something they want to talk about on the fucking presentation. They're just like, nah, it might have 12 gigs of RAM or whatever, but this AI stuff, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the AI. Talk about the fucking phone. What does the hardware actually, like, what are the upgrades? Like, what are the actual upgrades? Like, oh, you made the screen flush again. You've gotten rid of the curved screens now. It's now a proper screen because apparently that actually improves the S Pen sensitivity or whatever. And like, that's actually pretty interesting to know about, especially as an artist, right? Like, that's something that I kind of want to know about. Because, I mean, if I'm going to be paying like $2,000 or whatever for this phone, I kind of want to know about the phone, not software shit. You know what I mean?
So, you know, just to finish AI stuff, last article that I saw was that some American agency bureau is investigating OpenAI to see if they maybe stole some copyrighted works.
I think they probably, well,
so maybe the whole AI is going to get burnt down because of copyright laws.
I don't think that. I think OpenAI might, but I don't think that's going to stop like Samsung or Google or whatever from doing it, because they're doing their own shit, right? So I think the technology itself isn't going to get burnt down. I think unethical companies might, but well, I mean, I say that.
Well,
it's not like Google. It's not like Google and Samsung are ethical companies. So, I mean, but you get what I mean, though, right? Like, I think the technology is not going anywhere. It's too late now. Like, because the reason that all these phones, right? I think you're going to see it for every single new phone that comes out. It's because the new Snapdragon chip has specific shit in it to facilitate AI features, right? So all of the companies are going to start being like, here is how we are going to use the new hardware features in the chip to do
Nretsew,
fancy AI thing.
You know, that's kind of difficult thing because, you know, the PlayStation 3, right? Back to gaming. The PlayStation 3 had the cell processor and was a super processor.
And it caused a lot of fucking problems.
Because you had to use it in a specific way. And those AI chips might actually go down that same route. That might be good for AI, but if AI uses down...
I don't know what the, like, technical spec... Like, I'd have to talk to someone that actually knows more about the hardware side of it, because I don't know as much about phone chips as I do computer stuff. That's not my field of expertise. But from what I understand, it's like... It's not like that. It's more like how I think Intel is better for AI because of the way, like, the CPU is designed or something. It's like they have certain functions in the chip that make it easier to do AI processing.
Or whatever, closer to like the buffers or something.
Yeah. It's some highly technical mumbo jumbo that I don't really have enough of a shit about.
Point is that making a chip specifically for AI doesn't mean that people want to use it for AI or that it actually is going to be used.
I highly suspect a lot of this AI shit is going to go... Like, do you remember, like, when assistants were a big thing? You know, like Bixby and Google Assistant and shit. It was a big thing that you could go, you know, okay Xbox or whatever, you know, and it would, like, you could voice command and do shit, right? Remember how that
Cortana was built in every Windows and now it's completely gone.
Yeah, because I think the AI features are that it's a gimmick like that, where it'll be fun. It'll be fun to play around with for like a year, and then you're gonna, like, just not fucking touch it again. That's pretty much
iPads in classrooms, 3D televisions, curved screens, AI, and now it's AI assistants, and they're going to crash and burn and not actually be used because it's more pain to use them than to do it yourself.
All right, back to video games, because we still got half a video.
Since that 2023 is up there as one of the better years I have experienced for games, there are still a decent number of titles from this year I want to check out, but don't really have the time to. That's a nice problem to have. Of course, this year has its fair share of stinkers as well, but don't let that distract you from the fact that you have so many goddamn options. I can guarantee you there's at least a few games that came out this year that you will thoroughly enjoy. I mean, hell, the fact that I can carry the...
Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot to say on this point either. Like, it's just like, yeah, there's bound to be a video game out there for you. Yeah, no shit.
In 2 months or 3 months or so, there's Unicorn Overlord, and from all I can see, it's a game for me.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, anyways, continue.
Vast majority of my game library on a Steam Deck alone makes modern gaming worth it. As a kid, I dreamed of playing games such as Mirror's Edge on a handheld device, and now I can. It's genuinely pretty insane how many game files I can keep in one place thanks to advancements in emulation and less console-exclusive games. Let's not pretend that older games didn't have problems. Shovelware was very common. It still is today, but there are also far more games being made thanks to the barrier of entry for games.
Hey, what do you mean? What do you mean? This is the best game ever made, Ellie. What do you mean? You should.
Well,
just look at this. Look at this. This is the peak. This is peak gaming right here.
Now, Nretsew, video gaming. I am kind of. I have bought games off the L site for a while, and now I'm kind of clearing out my backlog on the L site.
Yeah.
And I think those games are kind of better than what I'm seeing right here.
They kind of are, yeah. I'm memeing. I don't actually know what this. I think I saw something about some game like this on Steam, but I can't remember what it was called. Something zombie, something. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to meme because it's funny.
Development being lower than ever.
It wasn't Nretsew. It wasn't funny.
You don't need to know low-level programming in order to develop games. There are many tools out there to help you start putting your ideas together.
Yeah! Based Godot mention.
In a playable form. A lot of critique has been aimed toward the modern practices of DLC. I actually opened up Godot
because, I played around in Unity for a second and I had Godot on Steam, so I opened it up. But it didn't get nearly as far. I didn't, in word terms, I didn't manage to type out a word in Godot, so although I have my my concept for gaming that I would like to see made, rather somebody else than me, but unfortunately I don't have the skills to do it. It's not
seems to be the case, yeah.
It's not low level enough that I can, build it with blocks instead of code.
All right. Let's continue.
And game patches, but I don't believe these things are inherently bad. I hate the patch it later mindset as much as anyone else, but when push comes to shove, I'd rather a game release in a broken state to get fixed up later instead of not getting fixed at all. Let's keep in mind that buggy and unoptimized games were not invented yesterday. If Sonic 06 were to release today, there's a chance it could become an okay game eventually with numerous official patches.
Well, I don't know about that.
I have Nretsew, I see a vision. He's going to prove his point, kind of, in a few seconds.
Oh, okay, alright.
The fan-made Project 06 is somewhat evidence of that.
Well, the thing is, it depends on if you... Because 06 has got a lot of problems, I'm going to be... I don't know. You could probably... you can put lipstick on a pig, sure, but I don't know. Then again, I don't know a lot about Project 06, so maybe they are doing some good work, but I don't know about that one.
Never played.
It's worth noting that without.
I to be fair to his point, right? I do get what he's saying, right? I think that patch it later is a bad mindset to have, but I feel like, look, I like Cyberpunk, I will defend the Cyberpunks. I think it's a good game, despite how rough, quote unquote, the launch was, right?
I like this day one version more than the version that I played afterwards.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's continue.
Patches would never get the recognition they have today. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines didn't launch in a very good state. Of course, it didn't help that Half-Life 2 was released on the same day, but Bloodlines was considered very much unfinished when Activision forced it out the door. If it wasn't for a community effort to patch the game, it likely would never realize its full potential. In fact, the community patch is so essential that it's included with the GOG version of the game. On the other hand, we have fighting games. When you bought one of these, all the characters and stages included were all you were going to get. If you wanted more, well, guess you better pay for an entire game again. again when they release an updated Super Extreme Edition. With DLC being common now, companies can't really get away with that business model anymore. The consumer very much knows they're getting ripped off if they have to pay for an entirely new game. Please don't misunderstand me, I don't think anyone should excuse a game that's a broken mess at launch. I'll always call those games out, and I try not to spend my money on them. However, I don't believe that patches and DLC themselves are
more funny at the scene.
Yeah. Anyway, again, he's not really saying anything I disagree with. It's just like, yeah, broken games at launch bad, good to call them out. However, now I'm assuming he's going to get into, maybe don't hold it against the game forever. Because that's something I've seen a lot with Cyberpunk, is people will still go on about how, it was a broken mess, crunch, it's still bad, yada, 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 yada. But it's, at some point it's kind of like, you have to kind of not forget, but forgive, right? Like, look, have a bit more of an objective view on it, and what is the state of it now? Because imagine doing that with like No Man's Sky, right? It's like, No Man's Sky was broken, so that means it's broken forever. You can never fix what is broken, Ellie, right? It can never be the perfect game. Yeah, never forgive, right? No forgiveness, right? And I think with Cyberpunk, that's a good example of that, because I see a lot of people, like, some people will tweet about how they are having a good time with Cyberpunk, and you'll always get that odd person that'll be like, no fun allowed. You can't have fun with this broken game.
If this channel were big enough, and I would say, if this channel were big enough, people would say in reaction to me saying, I've been playing Shadow of Mordor. People would say, it's a Ubisoft tower game.
How could you enjoy an Ubisoft tower game? Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, let's continue.
Core problem here. It almost always comes down to corporate greed at the end of the day. I can't say I'm surprised to see a game launch a mess when it's developed by a team consisting of hundreds, if not thousands of people on a strict deadline. How do you effectively manage that? The answer is that you can't. You either take a decade to make a gargantuan game or have it release unfinished. One of the biggest issues with the industry today is that the modern super expensive AAA game is simply unsustainable. This has become a talking point again with the recent Insomniac leak. Spider-Man 2 had an insane development budget of $315 million.
Yeah, I've heard a few things about this. I don't know if you heard a lot about the leaks that came out of Insomniac.
That it's unsustainably big and it wouldn't ever recover the cost. Kinda.
Well, the full story was they got hacked. Hack, right? Big hack happened. Hackers were like, "Hey, give us money, or we're going to release all of
I know
shit."
that part. I'm more, directly into the numbers of the money spent.
Right. Well, I kind of wanted to talk more about the other stuff, because there was there's a lot of interesting stuff about how far ahead, they've got a timeline going into 2030 almost, of here's all the games we want to do, right? And how far it puts into perspective just how far ahead these companies are kind of thinking, right? And we don't normally get to see that, because we obviously only get to know, we only see what we're allowed to see, right? And then in terms of what he's talking about here, he's basically just making the same point I've been making, it's not sustainable. Eventually it's going to collapse, or it's going to have to be scaled back. It's pretty much, he's making my point, pretty much. So let's let him finish talking about the numbers.
That's more expensive than most Hollywood blockbusters. I don't even want to imagine how much money is going into GTA 6. I'm not saying you can't ever have these huge spectacle games, but perhaps the industry should take things back a notch, and I think that might already be starting to take effect. See, if you start developing a AAA game now, it's not going to get released until the next generation of consoles. There's even a chance it could also skip the next generation of consoles as well. Yeah, that's a problem that has to be addressed, and that's one of the things I liked about this year. Not every game felt like it had to be the biggest thing ever. It's okay to target a niche and just make a fun game. Not everything has to be some massive tech demo. If you're constantly looking to play the biggest games the industry has to offer, I'm not super surprised if you don't find games as fun as you used to. Of course, there's a variety of reasons why that might be the case. However, if games don't seem fun to you anymore, I highly recommend checking out titles a bit outside of your comfort zone. If you're burned out on competitive shooters, why not give Street Fighter 6 a try? Tired of big, empty, open world games? Why not give Lies of P a try? If I completely disliked modern gaming, I probably wouldn't talk about games nearly as much as I do. While I heavily critique the games industry, I've had some of the most fun playing games in recent years. Modern gaming has a lot of positive things going for it, and many questionable things going against it. To say it's one thing or the other is inaccurate. Just think, in about 10 or 15 years' time, we're going to have people looking back at this year as the golden age for gaming. They're going to think...
I don't know. I
guess it will be, because, you know, I forgot Street Fighter 6. I bought Street Fighter 6, I played it a little bit, Marissa is cool. I would say, yes, Street Fighter 6 is a good game, Zelda, Baldur's Gate, Xenoblade...
I'm just weary of the whole, like, golden age, you know, thing, because I feel like you risk the rose tinted or gold tinted, I guess in this case, glasses a little bit, because it's always well and good to look back on the past and be like, wow, things were so much better back then, Ali. So big better. And then,
21 days like, after it's over. Oh, what a great...
Yeah, but today was so bad. Today's so bad. Things now's bad, but things back then so good. You know, it's easy to do that.
To give my prediction of how the future will interpret 2023 into 1, I guess, is that it's going to say, ooh, those gacha monetization things really got out of hand because of the...
I think you put way too much emphasis on that. I don't think people care nearly as much.
No, I think it will, because alright, opinion time, right?
Based opinion time.
Based opinion.
Oh boy.
That is that the monetizations is a consequence besides growth. Is there growth? Is a consequence of everything has to be as big as possible in live service games. Right. If the budgets are scaled back and, you know, the games are an appropriate size, then the games should be able to recoup the costs without being supported into eternity until they eventually...
Well, counterpoint. Yeah. Girls Frontline 2 just came out in China, right? It's been out. It was out for like a week. Already made back the budget.
Yeah, I am talking about. Was it Kill the Justice League game? That's also, of course, a live service. Blah blah blah, or at least was made to be one until it was no longer pop. Live service became a dirty word in the last year. Also, another problem, of course, is like you already said, is that game development cost takes 5 years, right?
Yeah. So it's like I was mentioning this. So like these companies have like 5 to 10 year plans, right? If you look at the Insomniac leaks, they've got shit lined up. Like here's when we want to bring this out. Here's when we start development on this. Here's when we work on this and this and this, right? So yeah, I'll let you continue.
Yeah. So the Batman game from not too long ago, right? And this Justice League game, right? Both were built on the bones that live service people loved live service games until they didn't from in the past 1.5 years. But then you already have 4 years into making a live service games that everybody liked, everybody loved even. So now you suddenly have a game that's live service game that has to stop being live service games, and you can't. It's built to be that. You can only change, the skins. You only change the skin deep, not the bones of it. And
all right,
to not cut themselves as hard on, changing trends. I think, or at least I think it's a good idea that projects are being approved based on them having shorter development times and smaller, that they can more easily manage with changing trends and not have needs two extra years to be the live service fight.
Right. All right. Well, let's finish the video up, and then I've just been, my brother's texting me, he wants something, so I'm gonna have to
I heard your
dip out
phone.
and yeah, tippy tappy, texty. I will have to dip in a second. You can bring up the second part of the stream while I'm sorting out what I got to sort out.
Think their games are awful and want to go back. Fun times. Remember, if you stop having fun, it's okay to take a break. Thanks for watching. If you somehow made it all the way to the end, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon. Hope you beautiful.
All right. Well, I guess that's about it. He's still a little bit left, but I assume it's just promotion or something. So I'll give my final thoughts and then I'll go see what the brother wants. I didn't really disagree with a lot of this video, really. I think it's pretty much it's pretty much my opinions, really. Like the infinite expansion can't continue, right? It's gonna have to scale back. I think he's pretty much just preaching to the choir, really. There's not a whole lot that I could really say is disagreeable. What do you think?
I would if it is kind of milquetoast, and that's why I skimmed through it and say, oh, he's saying reasonable things. I guess let's use it. Sorry. I would have liked a little bit more spicy future takes, like I'm doing, right? A little bit more opinion is to make the video more interesting, because he is speaking a little bit monotone, right? Monotone.
Yeah, a little bit. And like I said, he's just kind of stating facts, really. Like there isn't really a whole lot of opinion. I mean, the game taste stuff is probably opinion, like the games that he chose, right?
So yeah, but he did say he picked games that even he not necessarily liked.
True, so that's true. Yeah, that's true, I guess. So
I think he does faltered a little bit in not selecting something like Tears of the Kingdom, because that is a big game of the year.
That was a big game that came out. Yeah, that's true. So even he missed a few things.
Yeah, I would have liked something more of the detrimental effect. More of because this video is is supposed to counter the videos that says that modern gaming is bad. So
yeah, I think he could have used some examples of what
a little bit more acknowledgement of the what makes modern games specifically bad.
Yeah, because there's plenty of arguments out there.
Yeah. So, like, my gripes are, what I keep mentioning this video is the monetization.
The monetization.
Things.
Yeah.
So.
And he does like kind of bring it up at the start, but he doesn't really extrapolate on it. Like, he doesn't really.
Something like how Halo Infinite, right? Halo Infinite is plagued by very low XP gains and super handy XP boosters and challenges that nobody likes.
So you could talk about how like the fundamental game design has been affected by the monetization.
Yes,
that would probably be the way you'd go about it.
And
anyway, I'll let you finish up because I got to go sort whatever the heck's going on down the road. So I will be back in a jiffy. I will see you guys in a minute.
Yeah. So a little bit more spicy takes in what and a little bit more acknowledgement, I guess, from the people who say that modern games are bad. Not of course that I agree that modern games is specifically super bad, because what's now known as the dreaded 7th gen still exists. But yeah, I'm missing a little bit of an acknowledgement of what makes modern games bad. Secondly, like I said, a little bit more spicy opinions. What does the future hold? He says that games should be shorter, or less bloated. And in that sense, I'm kind of surprised that he didn't delve deeper into the Spider-Man leaks, the Insomniac leaks, and how that really shows that this current system is unsustainable. He just says the game costs that much, but it doesn't. He doesn't explain how much money that is in relation to another game, to another project, to another whatever. Samu, you mentioned that GTA 6 will be worth more than the electricity bill of some countries. Do you mean the cost of production or the money it will make? Because it might not bring in the money, it might not cover all the costs, in pure development, right? In pure sales. Production, yes. I would think that that's true, especially when you have North Korea. That's always an easy one. Samu, how much electricity? How much is the electricity bill of North Korea? Have you ever looked at a map of how much how much street lighting there is in North Korea? But yeah, no, I get what you mean. So, but overall, good video. Agree with the takes, but like I said, a little bit more acknowledgement of what people say when modern games are bad. Especially, I believe he could have said more about the monetization. He couldn't have said much about games are boring, because that's such a personal thing. You can't criticize that as much, or say something about that. And more personal spicy takes. Billions. The production cost in the billions. I know. I'm getting. It's a little bit hard for me to fathom because I don't. Billions is one. In my numbering system, you have 1,000, then you have 1,000,000, and in English, Korea. All right, yeah, it is more than North Korea. The cost, the billions. In my number system, you have 1,000, then you have 1,000,000, then you have your milliards, and then a billion. But in English numbering system, it's 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000, and trillion. My system, what I know, is 1,000, million, milliard, billion, billiard, trillion, trilliard. So a billion is a 3 numbers more than what you are familiar with.
Several billion quadrillion dollars, yes.
Yeah. Nretsew,
I just got back.
So. Nretsew, do you know what million, milliard, billion, billiard?
No. I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's my numbering system. The continental numbering.
That sounds great. So anyway, yeah, no, I just had to charging wires broken or whatever. So
no, it's that later. If you have your million and a billion and a trillion, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
In the continental, the long format, it's that you have million, then have you milliard, and then you have billion and billiard, and then a trillion and a trilliard.
Huh.
So
sounds good.
So you have one step between million and billion for me. So a billion.
Each of the things. Yeah.
If I say billion, it's a trillion for you.
Huh. Didn't know that. All right. Well, so shall we switch over to
let's flip.
second part of the stream, because we've got one other thing we wanted to do today, because we thought it would be funny. It would be fun to talk about some animes. So I'm just waiting for you to switch the things.
Very boring.
We're gonna very boringly fade to our new thing. Make sure I'm live. There we go. Oh yeah, you're still you're still trying to get to it. It's not gonna let me in. Let me in.
Didn't work. Terrible.
Oh man. Okay, let me get it up on my screen as well.
Let me press F11 for this.
Yeah. So, we're going to be talking about the Crunchyroll Awards, the Shitty Roll Awards, because we thought, hey, you know, it'll be fun. Let's go through each of the categories and kind of give our picks, and you know, we can vote as critical critique. We can vote on our picks for the different categories.
Oh no, Samu, we were being slandered here in Nretsew. We have to defend ourselves. No, Samu, I'm brave enough. I don't know if you tell me that I can rip that video, I will right now.
I don't. I'm telling you. Listen, Ellie. I don't want the channel to get taken down because of your bullshit.
No, we're punching up, right? He has more views.
I don't know. I'm not. We are not pirating the guy's video just so you can shit on him. Patience, my man. Patience.
You're still a coward, I see.
Look. Yeah, I'm not a coward. Look, to quote one of the best Transformers characters of all time, Starscream, right? Sometimes the cowards survive. Okay? I want to survive. I don't want to die because you're gonna do stupid shit that's objectively stupid. Okay? It's like I have to stop Ellie from doing channel ruining behavior on a daily basis because he's like, hey, Nretsew, I want to do insanely stupid. Well, let's get copyright struck. Let's do no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. It would be like if I was like, "Hey, Ellie, let me stream some porn games on the channel. Let's do it."
Well, just put a good censor up. No problems. I don't see an issue.
Ellie's urge, right, yeah, suppress. I gotta suppress. But anyway, let's get back on topic. Right? So
let me change the
Crunchyroll Awards. Look, Shock is Yui is happy he doesn't have to go to the website himself. So you know, look, we are doing the chat service right now because now you don't have to go to Crunchyroll.com, right? We're doing the world a service. So yeah, we're gonna go through all the categories. And yeah, don't threaten Ellie with a good time. We're going to go through all the categories. We're going to talk about each of the nominees, you know, if we can, you know, because obviously we haven't watched all of them, right? And we're going to see, you know, what our opinions are, right? What are our opinions, our base anime opinions, right?
Yeah.
So I guess to get started, we have the anime of the year, the big kahunas, right?
I actually think this should be last on the list, but it's the thing that people want. Yeah,
they put it first on the list, so we're gonna have to do it first on the list, right?
Well, can we just skip this one and go to the best continued?
I don't know. Can you? Yeah. Oh, you can. If you go previous, I guess we could work backwards if you want.
Sure, why not?
Work backwards. All right. Oh, you're on continuing. I'm on best voice acting.
Yeah, I pressed next. There we go. Previous.
All right, so we're gonna go backwards then. We're gonna go backwards, right? And we'll end on anime of the year. How about that? Right.
All right.
So best voice acting performance English. None of them because I haven't watched dubs in 5 years.
If this was the only English voice that I know is the English one from this series, right?
Yeah, but it's not her though.
No, it's the Tomo.
It's the redhead chick. Yeah, it's the other chick. I guess you could vote for her as like proxy, I guess.
I guess. I'll vote.
I guess. We'll vote. Okay, yeah, I agree. I'm not going to you have to put the email in. Yeah. That's why I told you to set up a simple.
It still highlights it. It's good enough.
But we haven't actually voted. There's no progress. The progress still says 0 out of 25.
Don't matter. If I press next, it doesn't remember. All right, whatever.
Okay, well, whatever. Right. Best voice acting performance Japanese. Now, this is one we could possibly comment on.
Yes.
So we've got Spy X Family for our favorite little Spy X Family girl. You have Denji in Chainsaw Man. You've got One Piece Luffy, which is an interesting choice. I mean, I guess. Bocchi, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Attack on Titan. So, let you go first. What's your opinions? Who's got the best voice?
I'm thinking Denji, because he does have a range of emotions, I feel.
I would argue Bochi. I'm leaning more towards the Bochi because that was a very endearing performance, and I haven't finished Chainsaw Man, and I don't plan to because I didn't actually like the anime. So, yeah, my vote would be Bochi. That would be my pick because I felt like she did a very good job.
I can be convinced to vote Bochi though, because she did have a good scream from the soul.
She had a and that scream was 100% real too. That was not like computer generated. Like she actually made those noises. So on that alone, I think she probably deserves it, to be honest.
All right, I will nominate Bochi, but I will say Denji does have a good growly voice of somebody who doesn't care.
It is a close game. Yeah. But yeah, I would say Bochi takes it.
Bochi.
All right, next we got best ending sequence. And so you have Jujutsu Kaisen, Spy X Family, Zom 100, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, and Oshi no Core.
Season 1 second core color. I did like the first core a whole lot of Spy X Family, but that's not in here.
No, it's talking specifically about the second core, probably because that was the one that aired last year.
We are very limited in that I didn't watch Jujutsu Kaisen, Zom 100.
Yeah, I haven't watched any. Yeah, I haven't watched Jujutsu. I haven't watched the Zom 100. Demon Slayer, I haven't caught up with
yet. Sneak a peek at which ED this actually was.
Because Chainsaw Man had a number of EDs, so I don't quite know which one that one is. I don't quite know which one that one, because I think OP wise, well, actually, was Chainsaw Blood an OP or an indie? I can't remember, because I really like Chainsaw Blood. Chainsaw Blood was really good, but I think that might have been the OP, so that might come. That was one of the OPs, because Kickback was like the first OP, and then I think the second OP was Chainsaw Blood. I can't remember. But I would argue.
It's
I don't know.
3. That's not one of my favorites. So because I liked 5, I believe, and 4. In that order, in the Infinite Demon, the first half of the Infinite Eternity Demon, and Powers ED. Those were the 2 ones that I liked.
Right. Okay, then. Well, my vote would probably be Oshi. I think Mephisto was a very good ending.
It has a very good interlude. Am I saying the right? Interlude into the ED?
Yeah, I think that because you knew that when you heard that start that because it would
the
start
violin,
up
right?
a little bit. Yeah, and it would start up a little bit before, because this is ending, remember, not opening. Yeah, so it would start up a little bit before the end of the, before getting into the ending, right? And then it would have like a little crescendo to cap off the episode, and then go into the ending. Yeah. So I that's why I would, and then it would go into the key. Yeah.
So
and then it would go. Yeah. So I would vote for that. That would be my vote.
Oshinoko best ED. OP.
Yeah, OP. So OP, you have Idol, obviously. Mm-hmm. You have Heavenly Delusion. You have Kickback. You have Song of the Dead from the Zom show, which I haven't watched, which is apparently like some zombie show. Jujutsu Kaisen, and then Hell's Paradise Work. Now, the only two of these that I've actually obviously heard is Chainsaw Man and Idol. So for me, it's a toss up between those two, and that's actually kind of hard because I do really like Kickback. Kickback is really good. I prefer Chainsaw Blood Chainsaw Blood is the one that I like more. But Kickback is a really good song. And I believe Kickback is done by... I have to check. Because some of the Chainsaw Man songs were done by a Vocaloid producer that I quite like. Really old G.
ED5 was done by Vocaloid.
No, yeah, maybe. Let me have a look. Like 5-0's hidden out.
Yeah, bye.
It's good to see you though, mate. Let me have a look.
That's hot. Good luck, man.
Yeah, good. Yeah, if he's in Australia right now, he's probably cooking because Australia is fucking.
If it's Celsius at least, right?
Yeah, Celsius.
Otherwise, it's good luck in the cold.
Otherwise, it's not. Well, the places in Australia were getting close to 50 Celsius today, apparently.
Ooh.
So it's pretty fucking hot. And yes, it is done by the guy. It is done by the guy that I was thinking. What did he used to go by? Hachi. He used to go by Hachi, but now he's going by his real name. And he is very fucking talented. He is an amazing musician. He does some fantastic. Classic Vocaloid stuff, right? Panda Hero.
No, you talk to the wrong person. I have no familiarity with the Vocaloid artists.
Ah, damn. There's one that you know, but you if you know anything about Vocaloid at all, right?
I know Denny well.
I can guarantee. Hang on. Like there's a guarantee, right, that you have at least heard one of his tracks because there's some of the most recognizable tracks. Let me have a look.
No, the only artist that I know of Vocaloid artists that I know is Danny Well. He made Nyan but
I'll just link it in the chat.
Yeah, and go ahead.
You will recognize this. You will definitely recognize this. It'll be in pop chat. So he did this.
All right, post it in the YouTube chat as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So the same. This is a fun fact for people. The same person that did Kickback and some other of the Chainsaw Man songs is the same man who did this, and stuff like which one was it? It was I think Panda Hero was one of his. Moriyaska was another one that he did. Like he did some of them like the fun foundational Vocaloid music, right? So that's why I'm like, I have a very like, and even his like more modern stuff now that he's no longer really doing Vocaloid stuff, some of his more modern stuff has been like, yeah, he did Kickback. You know, he's done. I don't know who did Chainsaw.
Yeah, so, but let's go back to the OPs for 1 second.
Yeah, right? yeah. Because I'm getting distracted by fun war.
Song of the Dead and Where Blue Is are disqualified because we don't know.
Yeah.
Innocent Arrogance. I liked it, but I think Work is slightly better. From Hell's Paradise. Between Kickback and Idol, I prefer Idol.
It's hard. It's really hard because Idol is such a good fucking song too.
But also, it flows into very different things all the time.
Yeah,
very well.
I mean, the one thing. I mean, it's Yoboshi, so of course it's gonna be fucking good, right? Like she's like the fucking queen of anime OPs, right? So I'm kind of like, I'm leaning more towards Idol too, but it's very, 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 very fucking hard. Like Kickback is, I think, just because I prefer Chainsaw Blood, I'm probably going to lean towards Idol. So let's go with
Idol.
All right. Okay. Coming up next. Best score. So we've got Oshi, Bochi, Demon Slayer. I think that's a movie. I don't know what that is. Chainsaw Man and Attack on Titan.
So this is just the music that plays during the anime, the background noises.
Yeah. I mean, the question is would you count like insert songs as being part of that?
No,
because then
I don't.
Bochi, because then Bochi would probably win if you counted insert songs.
Then I think I mean let's go for the definition real quick. Blah blah, blah original music composed for it.
Well then Bochi would, because I mean,
guess
isn't all the
it's
music
Bochi.
isn't yeah, because isn't all of the music in Bochi like pretty much made for Bochi?
Yeah.
Sure.
Although of course Oshinoko has 2-3
it's
songs.
The same with Oshi, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, but if we're talking about like the score, as in like.
Yeah, because they actually play music on varying levels. If Yaponia was in here, it would win every day of every year. So
yeah. Well, I would argue it would be between Oshi and Bochi, and I'm leaning towards Bochi.
Yeah, Bochi.
Okay, and now we've got anime song.
Just anime.
So that is this category celebrates a song. So this is like insert song versus like just the score as a whole, right? So this is like a singular one of the songs. And so you've got Idol, Complex, Kickback, and then a few that we've already sung. It's gonna be between Bochi, Oshi, and Kickback. This time around, I might lean towards Bochi. Right? Cause Complex is pretty fucking good. Like, it's pretty good, you gotta admit. It's a pretty good song. It's one of the ones I got in my liked playlist.
I do like Idol more than Bochi's song. So it's kind of a it's a best RPG is also the best game of the year. Winner is also best game of the category.
Well,
winner.
I would, because we voted Bochi for, not Bochi, because we voted Idol for OP. Like, and I think that Idol on its own without the OP, right? Like, looking at it from that perspective, because when you have the visuals going with the music, it's a little bit different than when you just have the song, right? I would say I'd like Complex more as a song, if that makes sense. And I mean, they're all three of them are fucking good, right? It's really hard.
It's hard.
Like,
because if you remove the music from, if you remove the visuals from it, I think
like
Work is actually a pretty good one as well.
Yeah. It's like if I'm thinking about like, okay, I have this in like my playlist and it shows up when I'm like on a run or a walk, right? Like, what am I going to be more into? You know, what am I gonna?
Well,
what am I going to enjoy more when I'm on the bus or something? You know, like what am I or like when I'm in bed, like just chilling out? You know, what am I going to enjoy more? Probably going to be Complex for me.
So for me, it's going to my order would be Idol, Work, Bochi, Kickback. If I'm going to listen it on my own, for example.
I would probably go in a bit of a reverse. I'd probably go Complex, Kickback, Idol. But that's just me, I guess. Well, that's our picks then. That's,
let's just
we're not actually voting anyway, so it's not like it matters. We're just giving our opinions, right?
This is a emotional.
Must protect at all costs. Which character?
Well, Suletta will kill you, so she doesn't need much protection, actually.
She doesn't really need much protection, no.
Ochita is already dead, so don't...
He's already dead. Mission failed. We'll get him next time. I have no idea what the...
Anya is the only one, really.
Yeah, probably want to... I mean, Bochi, though? You kind of want to protect both of them, don't you? A little bit.
Yeah, but I believe that Bochi has already a support group that does stuff for.
Yeah.
If you encounter Bochi on the street, she'll be fine. If you encounter Anya on the street, distressed, she needs help more than Bochi.
All right, we'll go with that. Right. Next, we've got supporting character. So you've got Reagan, Mob Psycho. You got someone from Attack on Titan. You got Power. You got this is gonna be a bit of a tight one. I don't like how there's two Jujutsu Kaisens here. This is bad.
I don't know.
Crunchyroll.
I mean, we can ignore the bottom half at least because we don't know them.
Yeah, we don't give a shit. But I just want to comment. I don't like that because it's like, oh, so you're gonna add like 2 of from the same series? Like I don't think that's fair. That's not fair to me. But anyway,
and I see that someone wants even more Jujutsu Kaisen characters.
Yeah. I think it's silly. So anyway, I think it's going to be between. I mean, Reagan is a really good fucking character.
My vote would go to Reagan.
I kind of agree, actually. Like, I mean, Power is really good, and obviously, Armor is really good, but Reagan's just such a bro.
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
Look at this image.
Yeah. Like, come on. Are you gonna say no to that man? Are you gonna say no to him? You're gonna give him $500 to exercise a demon? You're gonna say no to him? No, I thought not.
He paid the money for the experience.
Now we're getting into some hard territory, right? Now we're getting into some hard territory. Main character. You got Denji, you got Eren, you got Bochi, you got Luffy for some fucking reason. You've got Mob, good old Mob, and then you have Man from Vinland Saga. Yeah. So, haven't watched Vinland Saga, can already eliminate that one. Luffy, weird pick to put in, maybe. Kind of an unfair pick, maybe, because it's such a, historic character with such a,
yeah, but Eren is already historic because he's also going for 10 years.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be between Mob, Bochi, and Denji. I'm gonna go Bochi. I mean, Mob. That's the thing. I don't necessarily like that because it's like a new season, right? Yeah. It's like a new season, so they can put him in here. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like because if I'm gonna pick something that actually started in the last year, I would go Bochi. I mean, Denji's good, don't get me wrong, but Bochi is just such an incredible character. So
I do think that Shigeo Mob is a good character for his character growth, right? That's the entire point of the thing. Bochi is the pick for this year, though.
Yeah, it is. It is the safe pick. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's kind of the right pick. Let's be real here.
You see how we are game journalism, the Game Awards at this moment.
Yeah,
we're not necessarily picking the best character, but the best character for this year.
But so best slice of life, right? Now we're getting into genres. So you've got Bochi, you've got Do It Yourself, got Missing Pieces, whatever that is. Insomniacs After School, My Love Story, and
Skipped and Loafer,
whatever that is. So I have not watched anything except Bochi. So you can guess what I'm going to be saying, right? You can guess what I'm going to be saying. Although I have heard some good things about DIY. I have heard, because I believe our good friend of the show, Lolly, is a fan of DIY. He quite liked DIY. So
I very much liked level 999.
Right. I don't know anything about it, so I can't.
So yeah, basically, this girl over here and this guy over here playing the same MMO. This guy is a pro gamer, gets sponsorships and whatnot. She's just a casual, and they get into relationships. And it's very much about also the games, how game worlds connect people and whatnot, and kind of the awkward romance. That
sounds pretty good.
Also socio-romantic, and a little bit of comedy.
So would you say it would be a better fit for a romance category rather than a slice of life category? Because in my feeling is if it's slice of life, right? Bochi and Do It Yourself are clearly slice of life anime, right? Whereas what you're describing sounds a lot more like it would fit better as a romance style story.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel Bochi is a kind of a slice. I don't feel that slice of life also really covers what Bochi is, right? Feels more
Bochi is very K-on-ish in a sense. It's not exactly like K-On, but it is very K-On-ish. And there is some slice of life element. Like, I mean, they go to like the temple, right? And they have like the trip to the temple, and they do slice of life things. I guess. I would say Bochi is slice of life. You know, do it yourself is very much more cute girls doing cute things in a sense. So that's definitely within that category, right? So I would vote Bochi just because it's the only one I'm familiar with, right? So I kind of have to vote Bochi because I can't really comment on any of the other ones.
You can abstain and give me the vote.
Well, I mean, we're both giving our opinions, right?
Yeah. No, so no, I'm kind of thinking that there's a lot of shows that are kind of like Bochi, the kind of character growth shows that I don't necessarily think that fits slice of life. Because have you ever seen Working?
I've heard of Working, but I haven't seen it.
So Working is also a slice of life comedy kind of thing, but it's very much a show that has character grow and has a resolution at the end. And I feel that Bochi's story has an end in that sense. And
well, it kind of does, but obviously it does keep going. And I mean, the source material's still going. So
yeah, no, it's just my small critique against slice of life, and it should be slightly more narrowly defined. I mean, do it yourself is proper slice of life in that sense. Bochi would be something else, and Love Story Yamada would be more of a shoujo,
love story type thing,
josei story. But I guess let's give it to Bochi and move on.
Yeah. So next is a big one. Best drama. Oshi, Attack on Titan, Heavenly Delusion, My Happy Marriage, Your Eternity, and Vinland Saga. All very heavy hitters in this category.
I haven't seen To Your Eternity. I haven't My Happy Marriage also either. Probably because it was on Netflix, I guess. But
probably.
Oshinoko has just the drama.
Yeah, I would have to give it to Oshi too.
It has the drama.
I mean, Heavenly Delusion's pretty fucking good, though.
It is. It has that good, gritty, people hurt when they fall
big
a
emotion.
meter down.
Yeah, big emotions. Yeah. I think Oshi is. I mean, Oshi is about drama. It's not just drama. It's about drama. It kind of has a slight home field advantage. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I would say I would vote Oshi.
I mean, they held the whole suicide arc.
Yeah, the whole suicide arc. Yeah.
Well, 2 episodes.
All right, next big
fantasy.
hitter. Yes. So we got Hell's Paradise, Demon Slayer, Muscle, Mushoku Tensei, Ranking of Kings, and Ancient Magnus Bride. Now, I haven't caught up on Magnus Bride. I watched the first season-ish of that, so I don't know if the new one is good or not. I mean, I think I already know what you're going to pick.
It's for me between Hell's Paradise and Mushoku Tensei, and Best Fantasy is kind of odd because it doesn't really inform you anything about the story. It's more of the mechanic.
Well, it's the setting. Yeah, they define it as Best Fantasy is about imagination, creativity, and a bit of magic. These shows don't just take us to other worlds; they craft deep, original universes full of magical creatures, where even the smallest detail is fueled by ideas that were previously unthought of. So, a bit of a whimsical definition they're using, but I mean, Demon Slayer fantasy. I mean, it's fantastical, I guess. I mean, it really depends on how you define it, right? If you're going to get pedantic about it or not.
But because Mushoku Tensei is an excellent show in the fantasy world, but Hell's Paradise does interesting things with its fantasy setting, right? They go to an island which is supposed to be heaven, in a sense. You can get an elixir of immortality from there, but also it's also very gross. The first thing they encounter is bugs with faces of people, and if you get stung by a bug, you turn into flowers. your body grows roots and flowers and you die, kind of, or become a zombie of walking corpse with a lot of flowers on it. That's inventive.
So it's a bit more creative than Mashoko then, in a sense.
Yes.
So
it does its
so
own
I
thing.
would. I mean, since I've only watched Mashoko, I'm going to have to go Mashoko. But I can see your argument for Hell's Paradise, though.
I'm going to leave the thing on Hell's Paradise because.
Right.
And move on.
I get your argument. Yeah. So best action show, another heavy hitter.
All right.
So we've got Attack on Titan, Bleach, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu, and One Piece. Now, I don't like Chainsaw Man. I've made it known on the show that I didn't think the anime adaptation really did the manga justice, and I'm not a fan of it. So I don't actually think it deserves best action. But the only problem is I haven't actually fucking watched it.
I have seen one very cool scene from Bleach.
I have too.
The
so maybe
the Rukia Ice thing, or
I don't know, but I mean, it's talking specifically about the newest Bleach, so I haven't watched the newest Bleach. So
no, the newest Bleach has a cool Rukia turns everything into ice, and including herself, and she almost dies because she breaks apart, etc.
I haven't watched it, so
it was a cool scene, devoid from any context of the show itself. But Chainsaw Man has. Let me convince you slightly bit on Chainsaw Man, Nretsew. Okay, it has very good integration of 3D models.
Yeah, I can give it that. But does that make it the best action show of the year, though?
We could give it to Demon Slayer because it's undoubtedly good, I guess. Or
I've heard mixed things about the new arc, though. I haven't watched it, but I've heard mixed things about. Honestly, Jujutsu Kaisen would be a safe pick.
We're game journalists giving the votes to the fighting game of the year. Just give it to the biggest name.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's like I don't really have anything else to really give it to. But next category though,
esport coach of the year.
Yeah. Best comedy.
Ooh, which was the funniest?
We got Bochi. We got Daddy, some buddy daddies or something. I haven't watched that one. Muscle, Spy X Family. The remake of Nretsew, and the zombie one. So obviously, Bochi's the only one I've watched.
You're very robot-y for me.
Oh no! Discord dying. Oh no!
Let's see. I am.
You're robot-y for me too. So it's
I see. It's only a 5,000 second delay at times.
Yeah, Discord's having a funky time. So I guess that means we should probably get cracking, shall we? So what do you think? I'm gonna go Bochi just because that's the only one I've watched.
Yeah, I also watched a little bit of Spy Family, but Bochi has more original jokes mostly because it's also a shorter season. Romance. I would go with Love Story. It's in the title.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of these, so
I mean, you know, Tomo-chan is a girl.
I know Tomo-chan is a girl, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Have you read it?
No, I haven't.
All right, it's also fun, but it leans far more into the comedy than into the romance. Well, this is more of a romance and a slide with a little bit of comedy.
Now we're getting into some fun times. So Oshi, maybe Oshi, because again, I don't like Chainsaw Man, and I think the art in Chainsaw Man is not great, and it doesn't convey the original all that well. I mean, it looks okay, but I don't like it specifically, So
I do.
And then of course
It might be cheap, but I do like the filter they have on it. It's a little bit more grimy, a little bit more washed out colors. It does nothing pops in.
Although Oshi does have pretty good art direction too, with the very bright color. It's like the opposite. It's very bright, very all of the characters have their color scheme. It's very saturated.
Mm-hmm.
So I would lean towards Oshi, personally. That would be my pick.
Although, if you're talking art direction, the fantastical island where everything is flowers for a good while in the show. There are a lot of pretty flowers in Hell's Paradise. I don't know if you have the time to look up Hell's Paradise and see a screen.
I'd have to go look it up and maybe go to look. But
just
right
look
now,
up a screen.
Yeah. For right now, though, next up we've got cinematography. So I think, again, I don't want to vote for Chainsaw Man, so probably Heavenly Delusion, I guess. I don't know.
You're sounding more and more like a hater than.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the Chainsaw Man hater because I don't. One of the reasons I'm gonna say I don't like it is because of the director's comments about anime. So I'm gonna that's why, because he's like, I don't want to direct anime. I want to direct it like it's a film, and I want to make it like a Marvel movie as my inspiration because Marvel's so good.
Not can't anime separate trash. The art from the artist.
No.
You can't. All right.
Well, not in this case because he's directly talking about how he did the cinematography, right? So that's different. He's actually directly being like, yeah, no, I did this because of this, right? So, I'm kind of like, yeah, and to separate it, right? Again, I don't know. I wasn't impressed with Chainsaw Man. So, unless you've got a different opinion.
There is sometimes in Heavenly Delusion there are good scenes which give a proper sense of direction and angles and movement. You can see something in the distance and it is there, and then the angle changes and it's in the correct angle, the correct foregrounding, distancing, vanishing points. A Chainsaw Man has just a lot more of it. I mostly think of the scenes where the old man shows up at the front door of Power and Denji, right? There is a lot of correct places and angles and shots and camera zoom outs and all that stuff.
Well, if you want to give it to Chainsaw Man, you can, but I'm going to be a hater. So
right. You keep hating, my man.
Well, I am gonna keep hating because guess what? The next category,
Chainsaw Man.
Fuck him. I would probably, it would be for me between Bochi and Oshi, and I would probably give it to Oshi over Bochi, which is an interesting choice.
I would kind of give it to Bochi because they have a lot of funny live action stuff and scenes,
and they have a lot of funny, different mediums,
Yes.
Like they got the
mediums,
they got the 3D, the 3D. They got the 3D thing. They got the cuts and the art style changes and the claymation and the So I'm leaning towards the Bochi now. Yeah.
Convinced Nretsew.
Convinced. Yeah. Next we've got character design. Again, probably Oshi, just because it's the only one I like. I mean, I don't know. Some of the character designs and some of the other stuff seems pretty good, but I don't know. I don't know why the fuck Trigun's down there. I don't know why the fuck Trigun Stampede's down there, because I didn't like how that looked at all, and the redesign was not really good. So I don't know what's going on down there.
I'm going to stand for Hell's Paradise because you can see in the small image a whole wide range of characters.
All right, moving to the next one. Animation. Big hitter of this one.
And how they animate. That's hard. Because I haven't actually watched Mob Psycho the first season.
I've watched I don't know if which Mob season was I catching up on? I was catching up on one of them, but I can't remember which one I was catching up on. And I mean, Mob Psycho's animation hasn't really, it's not like it's gotten worse. It's still good. It's like it's still as good as it was. It's not like a One Punch Man situation where the animation got drastically worse between seasons. I think Mob Psycho's been pretty consistent. So, I mean, I'm not going to say Chainsaw Man just because I'm a hater. So,
I guess the most proper thing to do is to treat it as the esports coach of the year and give it to Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen, yeah. All right, now next one's going to be an interesting one.
Original anime. Oh, this.
So you've got Maid War, you've got Bridewing, you've got the Buddy Daddies or whatever. You got DIY, you got Gundam Witch from Mercury, and then you've got whatever the last one is.
It's unfair, but it's going to the Gundam.
I knew it was going to go to the Gundam. Well, the problem is like I mean I was gonna watch Maid War. I never got around to it. I heard it was good. Like I heard it was really good, but I didn't get around to it. It was one of the ones that kind of slipped the cracks a little bit. Bridewing is kind of like
Birdie.
I think it's like a golf. Yeah, it's like a golf thing. It's like a golf sports thing with girls or whatever. And I heard it was okay. I know nothing about Buddy Daddies at all.
It's a comedy with two spies.
Do it. I think Do It Yourself is an interesting pick for this category. And like I said, I've heard good things about it, obviously. I know nothing about the service one, and then, of course, Witch from Mercury. I think Witch from Mercury is probably the safe bet, but I think it's a fine choice, right? I think that, because it is technically an anime original, even though it's a Gundam, right? Like, it is technically, like, it's not like it's based on anything else. So, yeah. I would lean towards Gundam or Do It Yourself. Personally,
no,
I haven't watched any of these, so I can't really do
it's
a full
unfair
vote,
because Witch from Mercury has like 2 seasons also worth animation and cool scenes and whatnot. So it's going to the Gundam.
All right, next best film. Did you watch any anime movies?
Yes, I watched this one.
Oh yeah, you watched the Kaguya-sama. What did you think? Do you reckon it's best film?
It's the one I saw. It's the best anime movie.
Yeah, it's the one you saw. Yeah, yeah. I haven't watched any of them, so
we're not blue nuts. See those 2 nuts in the sky.
2 nuts. Yeah, 2 nuts. Yeah.
No.
Next we've got
Kaguya-sama. The movie from Kaguya-sama doesn't conclude the series because there's still half of it to go. But it does include like the big end of the arc, and it goes into a new phase for like another.
Right. So it's pretty
chapters.
Good. It's pretty good. Right.
New series.
So then we've got best. Yes. So we've got Oshi, Bochi, Chainsaw, Heavenly, Hells, and Zom. So this is an interesting lineup. I would argue Bochi personally. I mean, between Bochi and Oshi, that's always such a hard choice, to be honest, because both of those were just so fucking good. Like, it's such a hard choice to pick between the two of them. I lean more to like. It's hard because I liked them for different reasons. Like, I enjoyed Bochi for different reasons than I enjoyed Oshi, so it's kind of like picking between the two is really hard.
I'm reading the description and the clarification, and that is. And the last bit, the last sentence, the last half of the last sentence.
Awaiting season 2, yeah.
And if you say I am awaiting season 2, that goes to Oshinoko.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll be contrarian and say Bochi.
Don't you want to know what's the rivalry between Kana and?
I do. But at the same time, I want more Bochi. So I'm again, it's hard. It's hard because different reasons, right? Different reasons. So it's going to be between those two. So anyway, next one.
Yeah,
continuing, and all of them are ones that I didn't watch. So Jujutsu Kaisen gets it because Game Awards.
Esports Coach of the Year, Esports Team of the Year.
All right, and now
anime of the year.
We've come full circle. We're back at the beginning. Oshi, Bochi, Chainsaw, Demon, Jujutsu, Vinland. It's gotta be between Oshi and Bochi. So again, it's the hardest decision. The hardest. Okay, I lean towards Bochi for the all around, right? For the all around. Personal enjoyment level, I gotta give it to Bochi, right? On a technical level, it's still really hard, but I lean a little bit more to Oshi, just a tad. But it's a really fucking hard choice. What do you think? What do you reckon?
Nretsew, do you remember the movie they started with?
I do. And I remember how that hook was so good. Was such a good hook.
Don't you want to give it to Oshinoko?
I do. It's like I said, it's very difficult. I think like on a technical level, Oshi should probably get it. But on a how much did I personally enjoy watching it level, even though it's like probably neck and neck, I'm gonna lean towards Bocchi on that. So
remember when she walked into that classroom and she opened her eyes.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're gonna go Oshi.
I am going to go Oshi. My non-voting votes.
I mean, I don't disagree with your decision. It's like I said, it's like no. I don't disagree. Like it's such a hard choice because they're both such great. It's like it's not cut and dry, you know? There's so many different reasons as to why you would pick one or the other. All right then. So that was us talking about the Anime Awards. We figured we'd do that. Are we going to stream the Anime Awards, Ali? Are we going to watch the Anime Awards live?
I mean, I have no plans to do so.
Well, we could just cover the winners when it's done. I'm sure they'll probably post the winners, and we can react to the winners once we, next stream. Because I don't really want to watch it either, because I feel it's just going to be cringe. I get the feeling it's just going to be cringe because it's always cringe. So, yeah. But anyhow, is there anything else we want to talk about, or will we?
I did, actually, Nretsew, behind the scenes talk. I was planning. Still have that thing on screen. 1 second.
We still have man getting cooked. Yeah.
No, I had a plan to prepare the shows that we were watching this season and have them pop up on the screen while we talk about them.
Yeah, that would be pretty good, but we can't do that now.
Kind of like a professional.
Yeah, but we can't. But we'll wait till you've fixed your OBS before we can do that. I guess to do like a quick kind of blitz summary, because I did watch some stuff yesterday. Chain Soldier. Well, no, gotta stop myself. Slave. The Slave show. Is good-ish. I think the 3D is definitely not great, but I think that one of the things that's being lost is the main character, right? He transforms into like the demon, right? I feel like the 3D kind of takes away a lot of the emotion, because in the manga, like they'll draw the different emotions he has on the face of the demon and stuff, and I feel like you kind of lose that a little bit,
less flexibility, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, because it's the 3D, and it's not like it's not a good 3D model. It's not rigged to be able to do emotions like that. So yeah, it's gushing over magical girls, looking up to magical girls. Still good, still fantastic, still great. I'm hoping that next episode they get to some parts, because there's some parts I'm waiting for that are really, really fucking great. So I'm waiting for those to happen. But this episode was still really good. We got to see Kiwi, who is a very good character. I don't know if you've been
very
watching.
Good girl, apparently.
Yep, she's very good. She wants to take the main character to the Love Hotel. It's very
as you do.
It's very as you do. Solo Leveling. I watched episode 2 of that. I think episode 3 comes out today, doesn't it?
Yeah, or it's already out by now.
Solo Leveling is interesting because it's obviously it's not isekai, right? But I can see why people like it, and I can see why people are getting the vibe, right? Because I don't know if you're watching it, right? But
I was,
basically,
I've seen the 2 episodes.
You've watched it?
Yep.
Okay, so I like this idea of the dungeons, right? You have like, the dungeons appear and people go into the dungeons, right? And now we're introducing this idea of like, so maybe the dungeons are not just like kill the things, like a raid. There's like, it's a puzzle room, it's like a death trap puzzle room type thing. And there's this whole thing where they like people are getting picked off, and the main character has to be the smart guy who's like, "Oh, I know how to. We have to all bow before the god because of the commandments or whatever." And I can kind of see where the story's sort of going, because he obviously is the last one in the room, and he gets fucked up by the statues.
Yeah.
But the timer runs out, and now he's been given the special. Would you like to become a player? You know, you're about to die. Would you like to revive or whatever? And now he's gonna probably, we're gonna see the transition from, scrawny man to buff, big OP man, right?
So I don't watch. I have not watched the Korean manga.
Well, read the manga.
No, I haven't. Yeah. Or
me neither.
In general,
I did watch a video from a guy talking about the differences and the art style differences and stuff, and it's quite interesting how there were some differences between the manga and the anime, which is going to be.
No, I'm talking about the say the vibes, the trend of today between in general, right? Between manga and manga, what is the difference? Difference is that the guy your main character gets buff beyond beliefs in 5 chapters. That's the thing, right? So now he's scrawny and thin, right?
Yeah, and
he's gonna
take some protein powder, and he's gonna big workout, man.
Yeah, so magical protein powder, and he's going to be the buffest guy you ever seen. That's how all of them go. As much as all your Japanese protagonists trip and fall into face first into panties. That's how inevitable the it is.
But I think it's interesting to compare it to isekai though, because I think there's a lot of similarities in the vibe. I think with the character starting off as kind of this scrawny, and then he gets buff, and then the story is going to kind of have to sort of work its way around that.
I have no doubt it's influenced by the trend of isekai and then brought over and made its own in Korea.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what the next episode has in store. I'm going to keep up with it. I think it's interesting. Furin, it's good. It's fair. What can we say? It's good.
Magical tests going on, exam.
Yeah, big good. I haven't caught up on Metallic Rogue yet though. I haven't watched the second.
I have second. I was kind of I haven't last week I haven't watched Metallic Rogue yet. I have now. First episode was a little bit less than I expected, because what I expect from a first episode of an anime original is a big hook, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying yesterday, where I was like, I don't actually quite know what's going on. There's a lot of like disparate elements, like there's a lot of like disjointed sort of elements being tossed around, like. You have like the drug, and you have like the android people, and then you have the you inject the drug and you get the body tattoos show up or whatever, and then there's like there's like these other people that are like the Immortal 8, and they're like super android war machine Kamen Rider people, and then you have like but there's also the hacker lady. And my problem I mentioned last week, which I want to get your opinion on, is like I don't actually know what any of the character motivations are yet. Because we've been introduced to these characters, and we've got like a good idea of like, okay, this is like the main girl is this kind of android girl who's a bit, she's a bit cloud-headed and a bit ditzy, I guess, and a bit, she's like, not all there. Then you have like the hacker lady, glasses, big smart woman. But what is why are they attacking the singer lady? What she takes like the orb out of her chest or whatever, right? Yeah. But like what does that actually mean?
So Nretsew,
what does that actually signify? I don't know.
Nretsew, the second episode doesn't answer those questions yet.
Yeah.
But what it does, what it did for me was to say, oh, this is a place. People live here. People have a history.
Okay.
And that's because at one point one character goes in the second episode halfway through, "Get out. I was cool back in the day.
Cool person.
I was a cool person back in the day." And then it's, oh, so this world has a history, right? This person was known back in the day. And that elevated for me, all right, people have thought about something of a history of this world. That gave me more confidence in the show. And also, there's a little bit more of a grounding, a little bit more exposition. Because the first episode didn't really have any exposition at all. Very little, right? I mean, I guess, I'm wrong. They have exposition of, the robots need the juice.
They need the drug. They need the juice, the
drug. They need
drug.
the juice. But they didn't really tell anything of the history of the world. And the second episode goes a little bit more of the history of the world, and that gives me more grounding in the story.
So hopefully they get a bit more like into it, because I'm not expecting to have all the answers on the first episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting them to just like exposition dump everything in the first episode and whatnot. But I just felt like it left me more kind of confused than anything, because I'm sitting here watching it and I'm like, okay, there's stuff happening, but I don't have any like context for what's happening, right? So it doesn't, like, I'm not invested in what's happening. Like, you have this Joker guy who's like the Joker man, right? And he's being all jokery, and there's this conspiracy with the singer chick, and they're doing a thing, and he's stealing all the drug. And it's like, okay, but why is he doing this? What is it's valuable? Is he doing it because he wants the money? Oh, wait, is he one of these Immortal 8 fellas? Is this like the Illuminati?
I think he is, and I think that she is.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. There's so many questions. I feel like they could have done a better job, like, easing into it a bit. Just kind of,
but
like not necessarily giving the answers, but instead being like, what if we had like, okay, who is the hacker lady? Why is she flying into the city? What is and just having like maybe like just a throwaway thing, like maybe it's like you see like her laptop screen and it's like, we have a job for you. The job is in the city. You need to go to the city and do your job. And it's like, oh, okay, so she's going to the city and she's doing a job. Oh, this android chick is employed by the hacker chick. Oh, okay, all right, relationship established, great. I now know what's going on, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like there needed to be kind of like more of a grounding, I guess, to like why things are happening. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel you though, because the first episode.
Yeah, you feel me. You get me.
First episode of Kill la Kill, the first episode of Darling in the Franxx, the first episode of Gundam. Name a couple others, doesn't matter. All of them had.
They're very quick to establish, like, okay, here's the setting, here's the main characters, here's their motivation, here's what they're gonna do. There you go. We've got, it's all out the way, right? It's all sort of done. But in this one, it seems to be like they're going for like more of a slow burn, a little bit. And how many episodes have they got for it? Is it going to be just 12?
I don't know, but
13. It's 13. So it's 13 episodes. So, I mean, if it was a 24 episoder, I would say it's a bit more justified, because then you've got more time to do the slow burn, right? But if they've only got 13 episodes, that kind of has me worried about the pacing a little bit.
All right, but I would say just watch the second episode. And you get for me, it gave me more grounding in the show. Give me more.
All right. Well, I'll watch it tonight. I'll watch it tonight or over the course of the week, and I'll come back next week and we'll.
All right. Have you any other shows that you want to mention?
Not particularly. No. Yeah, no, I think that's about it, really.
Because I'm still on my phase of watching everything that I find remotely interesting before I drop more than half of it.
You drop all the things, right? So Spitfire. Quick time.
Solo leveling, interesting, I guess. Delicious in Dungeon. First episode was what I expected it to be. I didn't watch any further because I already watched the manga.
You're gonna watch the German dub because I heard the German dub's pretty good.
No, I'm not. No, the anime is the manga, and how good the anime is, I don't see added value from reading the manga actually. So unfortunately, trigger not watching it. Hokkaido Gals, as it's known in English. A little bit too much pandering for my feelings. A little bit too much girls fling themselves to the boy. So I'm out actually. Unfortunately,
you're out.
Goodbye, Hokkaido girls.
Oof, big oof.
Wrong way to use healing magic. Pretty cool.
It sounds.
Actually, exactly like I predicted. You get your.
Oh yeah.
You do training, right? You have a concrete block of 5 by 5 meters on your back. You lift it up 1 inch, 1 centimeter. Your muscles hurt as all hell. You heal the pain away. You lift it 1 centimeter up more. Your muscles hurt. You heal the pain away. You lift it 1 centimeter.
So basically, it's quick strats, quick train strats.
Quick strats, and you just train your body until it falls apart, and you heal the falls apart away, and suddenly you just have all the benefits of training yourself to death.
You've trained yourself so much, but you actually,
you can do it without muscle ache because you just heal the pain away before you feel it.
Yeah, big
gushing over magical girls. Actually, funny discovering of your sexuality, and another of my pin of confirmation that actual sex is more allowed these days. Instead of light fan service. That's at least my opinion on it. I haven't got around to watch the Villainous. That might become a problem because there are 3 of them this season. But anyway. It's time for torture. It's funny. I'm going to keep watching it.
Well, the manga was good. So
the manga was good. I do see the added value from watching the anime from reading the manga in as opposed to Delicious in Dungeon. So I'm going to keep watching It's Time for Torture instead of Delicious in Dungeon. Sengoku Yoko, haven't got around to it. I do want to watch it. It's been a while since I read the manga. It would be fresh for me anyway. La 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 la. And something completely different. I haven't watched it. I have seen one clip, a couple of comments on it. Brave again, Braven.
Okay.
Nretsew.
Yeah.
Braven is the robot. And you have to interpret the bang as more of the slang.
Okay.
Because
you've got my attention. Yeah.
Because the big robot, is very eloquent in his expression of having the pilot enter his body and handle the controls. To push the robot to his limits.
I see where it's going. It sounds fun.
It's
like a fun
super
time.
gay.
Yeah, sounds like a fun time. Yeah.
The robot is super gay for the gay pilot, I guess. So he and the pilot.
What's the funny Vladimir Putin song? Have you ever seen that? The one where someone was like, it's like Vladimir Putin, and he shows us like, I have a very special announcement to make, and it's just him singing, I am gay, gay, gay. I like long big cocks. I am super, super gay. I like long big cocks. It's a good meme. It's a really good meme. You should look it up. It's funny.
But anyway, so yes, interpret the word bang as you will.
All right. Well, that sounds fun.
Also, I've seen a funny clip from Sing Duality Noir part. Sing Duality Noir. Yeah. I might catch up on that maybe. But that's my anime report of this week. I skipped over Freerun, but Freerun is good. Fuck that bird.
Yeah, Freerun, there's not a lot to really talk about that right now. Like, I think we'll probably have more to talk about that when the arc's over.
Because also there isn't much of a big emotional. I have more to say. I could say more about the discovering of your sexuality, of gushing over magical girls, than I can say about slow development.
I think you'll have more to say about that as that progresses. Because I mentioned before, like, that's why I'm hyped for episode 4, because there's some because as it starts to go along, it does lean a little bit into that until like the plot kicks in, I guess. Like, because the start of the magical girl, it's very like sort of episodic, right, in the beginning, right? It's we introduce some new characters, or we kind of do some things that lead to the magical girls having a fight, and then they have like here is the designated BDSM section of the episode, right? And then that leads into some things. And as that's happening, what you're describing sort of happens. But then there's a point where it pivots into, here's like a whole new cast of characters, and we're gonna have like a plot, right?
Yeah. So
and then it doesn't necessarily like get rid of that aspect, but it does kind of sideline it, because it's almost like, okay, we've now established that, right? We've now established all of the kinks, I guess, right? We've established who's into what. And so now we're going to move into, right, we actually have to have a semblance of a plot.
I guess. No, I in making the thumbnail for what was this video, I did see the covers of the manga volumes.
Yeah.
And there are a lot more characters, and that was expected, but
yeah, a lot of you get to see like a lot. Yeah, there's a bigger cast of characters coming, basically. There's definitely a larger cast of characters, and each one of them has their own sort of stuff that they got to work out and figure out and do stuff. So yeah, no, I would I think you're not necessarily going to be disappointed, but I would temper it a little bit in saying that, like, it's not going to be like the main focus of the whole show, in a sense, right?
Oh no, it's gonna be like I mean, it's still. I'm still more. I think I appreciate the discovering and development of your sexuality, and it's a, like I said, another pin in my theory of sex is allowed more than before.
Alrighty then. I think now that we've done that, I don't think there's much else to really talk about. So
yeah,
we'll leave you guys for today.
And let's close with the words, Ellie is still cool.
Yes, Ellie is still cool. He is indeed. So yes, we will catch you all next time.
Later.